So as you all settled into the night, the rain kind of slowed down. Most of the storm seemed to pass and disappear. You went back to camp and saw Burrup and Trin having a nice little polite conversation around the fire, sharing some mushrooms and this interesting little recipe concoction that Trin assured you was not only tasty and delicious, but also good for you. Okay. You weren't buying it, but you ate it anyways, because you're Godric.
It helps the bacteria in the gut.
After a few more hours, you all went to your respective tents and cover underneath this large tree and went to sleep for the night. Sometime very close to when it feels like you're just ready to fall asleep and get that good REM, Burrup comes running around camp and he comes straight to Trin, and you just hear him pounding on your tent. Trin!
Oh! Oh!
Trin!
Oh,
Trin!
What? Burrup, is that you?
Get up, Trin! Come on!
I'm up. You've succeeded in your mission.
Trin!
What?
I got a message from Ulthion.
Is everything okay? Are they dead?
He didn't say if he was dead.
But
Now I'm alarmed.
I guess I would assume that if he was talking, he probably wasn't dead. Unless you have some strange powers that I am unaware of yet.
I just might. Either way, the point is that
Yes?
he said that we should wait for them to arrive.
To arrive where?
Here. And meet us here.
Here, at this camp?
Yes. Wherever here is, he said, wherever you are, we should wait for them to catch up to us. He has important things to tell us.
Important things? Well, I thought we were on kind of like a deadline. I thought that was why we split up and did it. Godric! Godric!
He walks over to the tent, hits it. He's like, wake up!
Oh shit.
Godric,
What?
we have received important intelligence
Huh?
from our comrades that we left behind.
What do they want?
Well, they want us to... Now, correct me if I get this wrong. They want us to wait here for them.
What? Why?
Did they say why?
I don't remember.
Burp doesn't remember.
We're supposed to be heading there first to contact the Inquisition first anyway. Why would we wait?
I don't know.
It's very confusing.
Burp, did this magical power, this message you received, did you have a way to respond to them? Or like
I
ask
did. I told
questions?
him I would tell you what he told me to tell you, and I did.
Oh. I don't know why.
Why don't you just ask him?
'Cause I'm lazy.
I'm gonna get up and look out. What time of day is it now at this point? Is it still like midnight? Or like is it close to morning?
It's dark.
We're just getting ready, like, to fall asleep.
I didn't know how much sleep we were getting. All right.
You know, it's where you get that, like, fuzzy feeling, and you're like, you're gonna enter that, like, short death
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Why are we waiting?
Oh, jeez.
We had a
Fine.
conversation.
Hold on. I'll ask. As I magically whip up this golden floating leaflet, and I write down a message. It's a cast message. Ulthion, I thought we were supposed to go ahead. Why are we waiting? Question mark. Bill Hart. Trin Twilight. And it, like, folds itself up and then, like, dashes off into the night sky.
Gotcha.
Well, I suppose we're going to be waiting anyway. We're going to sleep. Doesn't that count as waiting? It may take a little while for that message to get back. You know, magic.
I still say we leave in the morning. We wanted to get there early anyway. If we're waiting at
Yeah, what's the difference of waiting here or waiting
Vanheim,
there?
there we go.
But maybe, like, I don't know. He might have something important
Well,
it might be relevant. Maybe he wants us to wait because he found out something like if we go there, they've been compromised.
Why didn't they want us to turn around?
Murder us.
I don't know. Are we going or are we staying? I say we go.
Well, I guess we can sleep and then see what the message turns back. And then we can kind of make our decision in the morning because we need to sleep anyway.
At that, I push them both out of my tent and then go to bed.
Godric! It's cold out here.
You have your tent. If it's that cold, snuggle with Burrup. He's basically fur.
That hurts my feelings.
I'm pretty sure I might kill you. Remember, I'm basically a space heater.
You don't have to be afraid of your feelings, Godric. Fine. I'll let you
Now there's a lot of
come
fake
to me in
snoring.
your own time.
And not recently.
Fine. I didn't want to hang out with you either. I guess I'll go over here and sleep over here by myself. So I go and I take my little bedroll and I lay it out under the stars or the cold wind because I don't have a tent.
I have the tarp I laid down for everyone else.
I go and I lay in my bedroll and I go to sleep. The rules of the road. It's a long and lonely road. Guess I'm walking alone. And I go to sleep.
White snake. Anyways. Yeah, so you go to sleep. Sometime very early in the morning, probably just after first light, Ulthion responds to you.
Is it not enough that I said you should wait? You have to know why, right? I have important information that will change our interactions and what we do in Vanheim.
Still obscure, but I have no reason not to trust him. I roll up my bedroll and I stand up and I stretch. And I stretch and I do my morning calisthenics because that's important.
Now you realize that Burrup's not there anymore either.
Burrup! Burrup!
He goes, what?
Oh, where is it? Where are you?
He's just like standing on the other side of the camp.
Oh,
Like over there picking some stuff up off the ground. Just leaned over, he's kind of hunching there. You see Misha kind of just running around and hanging out about around his feet.
I was worried that maybe something might have happened to you, that's all. I was concerned for your well-being. I heard back from Ulthion. He says he has important information that will change the scope of how we interact when we get to where we're going.
So he just stands up. And you see him like drop some stuff in his hands, like rocks or something. He just kind of dusts off his paws
Rocks?
and just walks back over to you.
Are those
So are we
green clo-
staying? And he just raises his hands.
I guess. Yeah, I think so. We just gotta convince Godric, that's all. Are you collecting rocks?
Yes.
Why?
Why not?
You just carry really cool rocks in particular?
They might have been. I didn't get a chance to find out.
Well, they're right over there. It's like, you don't have to... We'll stay. You
So
have
he
plenty
just
of time
sits
for your
and just
rocks.
goes, no, it's too far.
You know, in some ways, you're not that different from the bugbears I know. Not that different. It's totally not a slight in any way. Anyway,
Well,
Godric!
I already checked on the horses and fed them and talked to them, and they're ready to go.
Can you talk to the... Well, let's talk to Godric first.
I'm already.
Godric!
You see me just.
Godric!
I'm still. I'm
Godric!
packing up my
Godric!
Godric!
I'm packing up my tent.
Oh, you might wanna leave that there.
Why?
I guess apparently, allegedly, and so-called to say so, Ulthion got back to me, and he responded. Would you like to hear what Ulthion had to say?
I'm tempted to say no and just continue on.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that was a yes. So Ulthion said that he has some really important information that will change how, what was it? It will change how we interact with the people when we get to Vanheim. Like it's gonna like alter the course of that whole interaction. Like it's very important. And like maybe without that information, I don't know what the information is, so I can't really speak to it.
Well, I'm
much
not
more than
waiting 2 days.
Apparently, that they've decided that.
Because they're still supposed to wait and meet with the lady, right? I'm not waiting here for 2 days.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
If he wants us to wait, I would rather just turn around and go back.
Well, I don't know. It's not such a bad spot. They know where we're at or whatever.
Did you tell them where we were?
Burrup did. I think.
You're literally just off the road in this small, like,
okay.
escarpment of, like, terrain and with, like, a couple of trees. You're not very far from the main road itself.
All right, because last time I knew, we were still waiting 2 days.
Yeah, well.
I'm not waiting 2 days. I'm turning around and going home. Or going back to the other place.
Oh, he called the Blessed Hearth home.
It's the only tavern you stayed in more than once.
And it doesn't even have a brothel attached to it.
Yeah, but if we're gonna go, I don't know.
Again, what you have told me does not change anything. I'm still now waiting for information. So the question is, do we just wait here for however long, or are they coming sooner? That's what I'm asking.
Well, I have something that can occupy our time if we wait. And you wouldn't want to really do that around polite society. In fact, this is probably a really safe place to do it.
I look around.
What are you talking about?
Are you curious?
I lean in. Very well.
So,
What do we do?
So, Godric,
Yes.
you know how you're very big, strong, handsome, and sometimes intimidating Goliath.
So, rubbing his bare chin.
Yes, all of that is correct.
And if you're in a compromised state, like being drunk,
I do it all the time.
yeah, if you're in it can oftentimes get you into trouble, like when we're in small villages and stuff.
I call it fun. Locke calls it trouble.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, trouble, and Locke isn't here to cast all the magic to keep you out of the trouble.
Yes.
Yeah. So, remember how I said I found those extra mushrooms?
You see Godric's eyes light up and go,
Yes.
Out here is really safe because we're in the middle of nowhere, so there's no one for you to hurt, and we can have a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We might need more water.
Oh, we can do that,
I'm.
and we could spend our time waiting, getting really high, like really high.
It has been so long. Not since I lost that wager and had to do it in Emrath. I lost a bet and I had to fight in a match while high off of mushrooms.
Oh,
That was very difficult. I didn't know who I was fighting because there was like 6 of them.
so just in case, I think we should have a ground rule that you don't actively fight anything, because that might be me or Burrup or the horses.
If it's small and cowering on the floor, I know not to hit it. That was not a
But it
jab
might
at you.
not
I
look
came
that
out
way.
bad.
What?
I said, I didn't mean that as a jab at you. It just kind of came out that way.
Okay, so we're not going to actively attack anything.
I- Yes.
I'll fetch the water, and we're going to have to both attack.
I'm absolutely interested in all of this.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've unwound.
Yeah. And what a great place to do it. All right. I'm going to go get water, and we're going to wait here, and they're going to come find us, and hopefully by then we've come down.
Let's hope.
So I'm going to go fetch the water and make some mushroom tea.
So as you get up, you notice that Burrup is over back at the road, right? Just basically checking it out. And he yells at you. Hey, Trin, come here for a minute. Come here, Trin. Trin,
What?
come here.
Okay, I'm coming. What is it?
So you get over to him and he just goes, do you sleepwalk?
Do I sleepwalk?
Yes, do you sleepwalk? You don't get up in the middle of the night without really knowing what you're doing or why. Do you just do things like maybe walk back and forth across roads for no reason?
Normally, under normal conditions, no.
Oh.
At least no one's told me I do. Did you see me doing something weird?
No, I didn't, which is why I was asking, because there's a lot of goblin tracks over here on the road.
Goblin track. Maybe there's a... I'm gonna look where you're showing me.
Yeah, make a survival check.
Oh, first roll of the night, baby!
baby!
Oh, that is nothing special. But survive 13.
So, based on what you can tell, based on the kind of spacing or so, it definitely looks like maybe 4 or 5 goblins had probably come through the area at some point in time, probably at night. Based on the direction, it looks like they came towards the camp. Maybe they watched from a distance to see what was going on.
Yeah, this is interesting. I know there are some goblins. There's obviously goblins in this region in general. I don't think... It seems like a lot of them kind of stick to the cities to stay safe, except for night goblins. You think these are night goblins?
Rope looks at the ground, looks at you, looks at the ground, looks at you. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm
They
not
were out.
familiar.
They were out at night, so maybe they are night goblins.
Aren't most goblins generally more comfortable at night anyways? Traveling?
Yes. Yes, you have a good point there, my dear Burp.
Maybe they were just traveling between Vanheim and Oswell.
That is also a likely possibility, Burp. Maybe it's nothing, but then again, maybe it's something. Maybe we should just be aware.
He kind of walks over to some of the the brush on the side of the road, looks down. Misha pops out and runs over to him, and she's carrying something in her mouth. And he grabs it and goes, "Oh no, never mind. They're night goblins."
They're
And he
night
comes over
goblins.
to you and he hands you this little trinket that's like a totem of good luck and protection from their moon deity.
Oh, a clue! Oh no!
And he's like talking to Misha. He's like, "Oh, there's also Warg and Wolfscat."
Work and Wolfscat. Maybe we should go back to the city. Oh, I don't know. We do have Godric here. They might be intimidated. I know they're a little crazy, but we're not exactly easy pickings.
Sure, I understand. But they're also a little malevolent and just crazy all around, aren't they?
Get the mushrooms and fight them to it. Yeah, they are pretty crazy. Well, we're fearful and desperate. And that can be perceived as crazy because they're unpredictable because they're desperate.
Either way, it's probably unlikely that they'll be back today. Tonight, maybe.
Ooh. You're right.
He kind of looks around. He's like, they probably have a burrow or something nearby in the region.
You don't have any skills as far as like setting up a perimeter, do you, Burp?
No, but would you like me to go look for them? He's like, he points, he's like, I can see the tracks. And Misha's can find them.
Well, maybe we shouldn't separate. I'd hate for something to happen to you or Misha. Let's kind of bring this up to Godric.
He yells, Godric, there's goblins! And not this one.
Godric, there really is goblins.
Yes,
Wait,
there's
what?
really goblins.
What do you mean there's goblins?
There's goblins.
Not this one.
Not
There's
me.
other goblins.
Other
And he
goblins.
stops for a second. And not me.
And not him. He's technically like a goblinoid. He's like my cousin, but
We're not related.
well, we're not related, but we're like figuratively related. Like
You're way smaller than I am. Look
like
at your
a wolf,
figure.
like a wolf and a dog.
Either way. Anyways.
So like you're this big hairy smelly wolf, and I'm this cute little puppy.
He's like,
puppy. I'm like adorable.
he comes over and sniffs you. Alright, I smell worse than you do.
Yeah, just a little bit. A little bit. But, you know, we can't really blame you. We're out in the wilderness and all that. But yeah, goblins. They're goblins. They're night goblins.
I'm gonna.
Night goblins! As I hold up the symbol and I show it to you.
It's basically just kind of like a weird, like crescent-shaped moon. It's very crudely crafted out of like a shard of rock, and kind of smoothed down a little bit. But you can very clearly see this like yellow eye has been painted on it.
And
And there's a bunch of tracks over there. And warg poop. And wolf poop. There's a lot of poop. I'm just saying they might come back. So maybe we should just go clear them out. Because they're kind of evil. They're not good goblins like me or the goblins in the city.
so, can you find them, Burrup? I mean, it's up to you. We either go back, we stay here, or we go forward.
I feel like we should stay here, but I don't think we should just, like, leave the possibility that they're going to sneak up on us and eat us in our sleep, like, on the table.
Night goblins are known for killing people at night. Slitting their throats. They're dangerous if you don't see them coming.
See,
And they're dangerous in large numbers.
so they kill us, so that this doesn't kill them.
All right, Burrup, can you find them?
I could try to find where they came from.
Let's start
Depends
there.
on how far the burrow is from here.
I'll grab the stacks. We're going on a hunt.
Are we
She's
doing
like,
what I think we're doing?
I think it's best if me and Misha go.
All right, works for me.
What if something happens to them? What if they get eaten by goblins?
Do you feel confident enough to get away if things get bad?
Do you think that? But if
Yes.
something did happen, do you think Ultheon would ever forgive us?
He seems confident in his skills.
But okay, if you see them at all,
If you're that worried, we should leave.
okay, let's go with them.
No, I meant we should either go where we're going or go back.
Oh no, that's
If you're
just-
worried about stupid goblins that are in the ground and half-sized wargs,
But they're still gonna be here when we come back, though. If we go back, and
yes,
then come back.
but then we have an entire group of people. That means that they'll probably mess with us less, and we can take watches.
Well, you do have a point there. Fine. Let's spend a day riding all the way back, just so we can ride back.
How much how much farther would we have to ride to get to Vanheim?
Another day.
Be a whole other day.
Because yes, it would take us the rest of the day if we wanted to get to Vanheim and get to an inn.
Yeah, but that's forward. We're supposed to wait here and not go forward yet. So either we wait here or we go back so that we can come back.
Burrup, I'm tired of this. Go find them. I need something to make small. I'm going to hate it until it's small.
Smaller,
That's
like in pieces.
Well, they're not bothering us, then why would we go kill them?
Also true.
Maybe we just track so we know where their hole is.
That's what I thought I was doing. I was
Yeah.
gonna find them and say they're there. We can move camp. We don't have
Yeah.
to stay in this exact spot.
Yeah.
Or we take watches tonight as well.
Ooh, watches. How about we do that? You see where they're at, and then we'll take watches. Sounds good.
Yep.
Sounds like a master plan. Great idea, Godric.
There you go.
So, yeah. So you watch as Burrup kind of steps away for a moment, and Misha kind of just runs off in the direction of the brush.
It's daytime, so they should be okay.
And Burrup kind of follows after Misha, just walking into the brush, and you see him eventually kind of just disappear.
You know, the one thing about bugbear is that this really seems really counterintuitive. Did you notice when they walked into the bush? They no sound at all. Nothing. They're like invisible giants.
Probably why, well, never mind.
I felt like there was something there. Yeah. So, until then, I'm hungry.
What type of hungry?
More mushrooms.
Alright, that or I can go hunt something again.
I kind of want to don't be left. I don't want to be left alone.
Alright, then we have rations. It's fine.
Okay.
Alright, so yeah, I'm just gonna kind of plop over, finish sharpening Gwendolyn, putting the cold runes on it, and waiting for Brooke.
So you guys spend the better part of a couple of hours eating breakfast and kind of hanging out in camp, and he doesn't come back.
Godric, you know it's been a while, right?
It has.
Remember how I was saying that Otheon would never forgive us if something happened to him?
Rightfully so.
I'm kind of feeling like something might have happened to him.
I said we should have just moved forward.
Now's not the time for your naysaying, Godric. We must leap into action and save our friend.
I'm gonna get up and walk over to where the prints are and stuff, and look in the direction at which Burrup went, and see if I can make out tracks to follow.
Okay. Make a survival check at disadvantage.
Not high. 9.
So the tracks go to the road, and you see the first couple of steps off to the side into the mud through some tall grass, and then after that, as if erased by magic, they disappear.
The tracks are gone. Send a message to Burrup.
Oh. It's nice. Golden scroll. Burrup, are you okay? Hugs and kisses. Yes. Shut up.
XO heart. Oh, there's the kobold cough.
How long do you want to wait for a reply?
Maybe 25 minutes.
So, yeah, about a half hour goes by, and Burrup does reply. I'm doing fine. I found their warren. They seem to be sleeping. I can't see them, but there's none of them out here. It's a large rock. It seems that they've dug underneath it and into the ground.
Oh.
But there's definitely a lot more of them than I thought there were.
Oh.
Should we not? Oh, you can't communicate.
It says here that there's a lot more of them than you thought there were. Burrup's okay.
Well, that's good.
You found them. And they're asleep. But there's a lot of them.
Which means they're going to be awake, so we should either move or keep going. or go back. Screw that. I say we just keep going or move the camp. One or the other.
I guess moving the camp's probably the best option. Let's wait for him to come back so he can find us. Then we'll move the camp.
So I'll begin packing up the camp.
You know, it really is a shame. You know, those night goblins, they're gonna murder and kill and hurt so many people probably. I'm just...
Are you trying to tug at my heartstrings?
No, I would never do that. That's emotional manipulation, and I'm above such things.
You know, there's more of a straightforward way to do it, you know.
No, I don't know that.
You could just ask me if I wanted to go slaughter them all.
Well, I don't think... I didn't want to presume that you might want to slaughter them all.
You could just ask.
Do you want to slaughter them all? Because you seem very against it.
No.
Like it was a chore.
No, I just want them to be awake while I'm doing it. If they are,
So you just want to wait outside of their little hovel until they wake up and then murder them?
No, politely ask them not to mess with anything. If they have problems after that, then they die.
God, I know that my calm and kind demeanor might have given you some positive impressions about goblins and goblin kind, but these are night goblins. And they're left wanting when it comes to, like, morals and kindness. And...
When I said ask nicely, I meant threaten them with death.
I don't think that's going to work, but we could definitely do that. One problem, though. If you fight them at night, when they're night goblins for a reason, and they do pretty well at fighting at night, and I've noticed at night you're a little clumsy. I didn't want to say anything, because I know you might be a little self-conscious about it, but it just seems, maybe it's because you're so tall that you have trouble seeing things, because just everything's extra far away from your eyeballs, or what, but I don't think you do that well at night.
It's because it's dark.
Yeah, I know it's dark.
I can't see in the dark.
Well, that might be the root of the problem.
Yeah.
Do you see how that might become a problem when we're fighting a small army of goblins
It's more things to punt.
at night?
No, because that means when I swing, I'm more likely to hit more things. They're going to try to surround me.
Yes and no, but yes. Like, you're not entirely wrong, but I think you're going the wrong direction.
I'm going to be honest. If they come at us, I will fight them. If they don't come at us, it's fine. I don't feel the need to go fight them.
Okay. Alright. You're kind of the muscle here, so I'm kind of relying on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't matter to me. Again, I'm still confused about the whole waiting thing.
We're supposed to wait. They wanted us to wait. We could go back. It's really far, and I have real goblin legs. I know I'm riding a horse.
You're riding a horse, Trin.
I know I'm
You're
riding
not
a
even
horse.
using your legs.
I know, but it's just so long by perspective. It's like I operate in goblin time, and it just feels longer. And you're not, like, I like you and all, but when it comes to, like, road traveling conversation, it's not one of your strong suits.
Maybe you just haven't picked a subject at which I felt the need to converse with you about.
Well, okay. What's that subject, Godric? And we can ride all the way back and spend the next 8.5 hours talking about it.
I don't know, pick something.
I don't know. How about your relationship with your father?
There isn't much one. Besides the fact he left me when I was like 14.
Oh, and how does that make you feel? I feel like we should unpack this.
One day
All
I'm going to find him, and I'm going to either stab him in the chest with a sword or hit him in the face until he can't move.
I realize that may make you feel better in the moment, but I don't think that's the most productive way to resolve your issues with your father.
It's not meant to resolve them. It's meant to make me feel better in that moment.
Yeah, but they will make you feel better long term because you'll lack closure.
No, he's a Goliath. If I hit him in the face and he goes down, he'll probably get back up.
So are we readying the horses then?
Yes.
Fine, let's wait for Burrup to come back safe and sound, because we can't find him, because he's a ghost in the bush. And when he comes back, we'll ride and we'll meet our friends, and we will safely traverse, and then maybe Locke can blow them up with the electricity and the booming and the thunder and the lightning and stuff.
You mean the thunder and the dangerous? Yes.
Yes, the thunder danger. Very well. And we shall discuss your relationship with your father.
I'm gonna get up and actually start just chucking around the dwarven thrower, kind of getting used to its weight and how it flies around, how it comes back, and all that stuff.
Okay.
And I will sit there and gaze into the bush that Burrup left through, waiting for him to darken the bush and return. I was going to say doorway, but it's a bush. It's like nature's doorway. Darken nature's doorway and return.
All right. So, yeah, about 10 minutes later, this kind of large and very pretty feathered hawk lands and just turns into Burrup.
Ah!
And he just kind of stretches and he's like, "Oh, I always get so tired when I fly. I'm tired. We're staying and sleeping, right?
You can fly?
Are you
This whole time?
Are you a druid?
None of your business.
So,
You're in our.
I don't ask you about your business. I don't stand there and go like, "Oh, do you have a little pecker? That's why you have such a big weapon."
Godric just starts laughing completely.
I'm pretty sure we just established
That
that.
loincloth is about 4 sizes too big, I think.
I think he said that just because he just now had a big pecker because he was a bird. Get it? Pecker.
I'm
The
resisting.
goblin is funny. You not so much.
I'm resisting the urge to ride away from all of you to where we're going.
So,
So we're staying, right?
well,
I'm hungry and I'm tired now.
I have some snacks. You can have some of my snacks. But we were just discussing it, and due to the danger that the night goblins present, that we should probably head back towards our friends and find them on the road. Instead of waiting exactly here in the midst of their territory.
Alright, so we're going where?
Back from whence we came.
We just came from that way.
I
And he just
know.
like kind of stomps
It's
and
so
starts walking
irrational.
towards his stuff.
I know, but see, Godric's being kind of a baby and he doesn't want to stay here. And well, we don't want to go there because we don't have the information we need, and we said that we would wait.
You know what? I've changed my mind.
Ah, my
I'm gonna walk up to Trin and go, "Where are the mushrooms?"
They're safe in my bag.
I turn and I
Bob's
walk.
like, we don't have time for this.
I walk towards the bag where the mushrooms are presumably stored.
We don't have time for this.
So that my bag's over by my bedroll and it has the mushrooms in it.
I'm gonna walk over to this bag.
You walk over and you see a bag next to a bedroll on the side of the campsite. It's leather and bound.
I'm gonna just pop the top open and look inside.
Inside, you see on the inside flap, this bag belongs to Trin Twilight. If lost, please return to the most fanciful goblin you've ever seen. What is it, Godric? Are they not there?
Yeah, no, I go in and I grab a couple mushrooms.
I still don't think this is the best time for that. You're gonna get sick on the road.
I eat a couple mushrooms.
Okay.
And I sit.
Burrup's like, well, that's the end of that. We're not going anywhere.
And I walk over and I sit by where the fire was. And I just sit there.
Oh no. I guess we'll wait here.
Burrup comes over to you real quick. Are we talking sick, or are we talking really sick from the mushrooms?
Well, first you get a little sick,
Why is everything
and then you get really high, and then you get really sick to finish it off. So little sick, big high, really sick.
Oh, so he's gonna be completely useless when the goblins come back.
Yeah, it's kind of a multi-stage thing.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go hide over there. And then you two are free to survive, I guess.
Oh no.
Sound like a plan?
I guess,
Oh, because there was only about, like, 50 of them there. I just want you to know that.
only 50 of them there! Godric, did you hear that? There were only 50 of them!
Huh?
There are only 50 of them over there!
Yeah, it seems like it's probably a large, like, tribal family, probably moving to somewhere else.
Oh my god, a tribal family!
Oh, and then there were the wolves, and there was a couple of large wargs.
Godric, grab your stuff! You're gonna be sick on the road, buddy! Come on, up! I know if I start shoving him.
What are you seeing, friend?
Nothing yet.
No.
What?
We need to get moving before it sets in! Before it sets in!
I've already
Brooke's like, I'll go get the horse.
I've already packed everything.
I'm gonna grab my bag. Let's go. I don't want to go and grab my bag. That's crazy.
Fine. I walk up and I get on my horse.
And where are we going?
That way.
And I go that way. I go whatever way he just pointed.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
It's just wolves.
Not goblin wolves.
Make a nature check.
We all know that he would fail a nurture check.
I believe that would be an 8. Good sir.
An 8? Sounds like wolves.
Sounds like wolves.
Then Burke corrects you and says, no, that's definitely wargs. Big ones. A mile away?
Can you? How big are wolves? I can ride a warg.
Oh, they're big and they're nasty, but yep.
Which way you headed?
Yeah, back.
I'm following the goblin.
Back to our friends.
Gotcha.
Our powerful magic caster friends.
Probably a good idea. Probably a good idea.
I'm just saying. You were complaining about distance travel. Now you don't care.
I die.
Trin,
I'm a goblin. There's 50 goblin to goblin.
what part of you being able
You're
to
like
cast magic?
You're like 25 goblins. I'm but one goblin, and there's
Sorry,
like 50 of
did
them.
you say 25?
You're at least 25 goblins.
That's an understatement.
It's okay, 30.
Thank you.
All right, so we're 31 goblins versus 50.
You also can cast magic, Trin.
Do you not
I
think
have
that
seen-
night goblins have magic?
I've seen you effectively cast magic and deal with a lot of things.
Not
Then Burke's
50.
like, yeah, goblins are actually potent spellcasters. Their shamans are really powerful. Especially underneath the sway of the moon god. Yeah.
Night goblins have magic. Godric.
I'm still content to stay.
I appreciate your confidence, but we are not staying. Yeah! Was that like
So I
So he just takes off.
Yeah, I'm like, I follow after him.
Gotcha. Alright. So you start heading back to Oswell. Gotcha.
Oh, that's what that ends with.
Damn it.
Son of a bitch. You brilliant son of a bitch.
Godric,
Mmm.
here, as I hand him my extra bag. You're gonna need that.
As he hands it to you, you're like, this is really weird that you're asking me to, like, drink out of this snake. So, and it begins.
Why did... Wow.
Just lots of flashing colors and some very, very interesting discussions with people who aren't around you, and you guys just have to listen to him the whole time.
No, you don't understand.
He's like having words with like his dad and just other people.
Why did you leave me?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, he's a sad drunk.
And then,
Wow.
and then he starts arguing with Riven.
Is it
And
my
it's
fault?
I
just-
swear, I'll kill you. Just get on the ground.
So,
Jump off the horse. Take cover, dragon.
back early morning inside Oswell. You all wake up to start your day. The city is already basically awake at this point. You're aroused by the message late at night. So your day starts fairly early, and you kind of just get to see the city come alive, and the lights come on and then dim down, and the shops open, the windows open, and the merchants and vendors begin kind of setting out their wares for the days down the street.
It's like the opening
And-
song of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, exactly. It's real great, you know. Somebody's running through the streets singing. Yeah. And then the inn opens up the tavern portion, and you can smell breakfast being cooked and everything in the morning, and yeah, it's just the start to a wonderful day. Beautiful colors in the sky as a storm had passed through the night. The rays of light just passing through the clouds and reflecting off of them. These reds and oranges first thing in the morning.
Sasha has something to say.
Does she?
What? What do you want to
You go downstairs and Locke is just working away, plugging away at his book still.
What are you talking about?
You're borking.
Look. Good
Well
morning.
done.
She
It
said
is.
that
I had a thought.
Godric's gonna take the dog for a walk.
I'm trying to be a bit more fun, I suppose, or at least less critical of the goings of the party.
Okay.
And I was thinking, where is that bell, the one that warns us of an attempted scrying?
I had given it to Trin.
Wouldn't it be fun if on our way there we just kept scrying them?
At
Not
this point,
only-
I'll walk out of my room. Did someone say scrying?
Yes, don't you have that that malfactory?
I do. We could do this all day.
Yes. I just feel that one, we could mess with them, and two, well, we could keep our eyes on them because I told them to wait, but I have a feeling they're not going to listen.
Well, yeah. Sounds like a good time.
But we must all swear ourselves to secrecy that we never scried them.
I
I'm
completely agree.
where secrets go to die.
Understood. Just a thought. I don't know if that's nice enough, or is that how you play pranks on people? I put a feather in Godric's shoe months ago and he hasn't said anything. Well, weeks ago.
A feather?
Yes.
He probably took it out and didn't.
No, I've checked nightly.
Oh, he's just walking around with it in there.
Completely ignoring it.
Huh.
Or not noticing it. I don't know which is more alarming, but I figured perhaps my pranks are a bit too subtle.
Well, he has taken a lot of blows to the head.
Oh. Should wear a helmet.
Probably should. Something about his tribe and armor and faux pas.
So breakfast is braised lamb with like mustard and like poached eggs with mead, and they just bring it right out to you.
Breakfast.
Yeah.
Mm. You know, I was thinking perhaps we should also secure some food on the way, something to feed Godric and Trin. I don't know what they've been eating on the road. Burup's a fantastic cook, but he tends to go for grubs and the like.
Well, that's a consideration I hadn't thought of, so yes, not a bad one. I can go and secure an additional horse for us, or you and Katerina could ride double on hers, or you could ride double on mine, or
You may not be as fast as a horse, but do you get tired?
I don't think so, not in the way that you do, but I do need rest.
I'd rather not track down a horse that can be a bit time-consuming.
Well, either way, I have time. I was going to do it while everyone was resting, but everyone was asleep. The shops were closed, so I read instead.
I don't weigh much with all the armor on. I'd happily share a ride with either of you, though I feel like the conversation would be better with Katerina. No offense.
No, you're probably right.
Fine with me.
All right.
Perhaps you could take the reins. I don't work well with horses. They're so rude.
Sure.
Horses be terrible people.
Horses
right.
are they would be terrible people.
They are terrible
Now-
people.
Reindeer, on the other hand, great people.
I'll take your word for it. I'll gather our things and get the horses ready while you two eat. I don't need it, and I'm well rested. So please. And I leave and head up to their rooms to gather their stuff and bring it down to the horses.
So in my room, then you would find that all of my stuff is laid out outside my backpack and like perfect order, prepped and ready to go, just not packed yet.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very well organized.
It's an obvious pattern, like what goes in first to last. Yes, I pack them
So you guys
exactly
finished
as you
up
would
breakfast,
like.
then you're all going upstairs? Did you finish up, or were you still downstairs in the
Oh,
tavern?
we're staying downstairs. He went up to pack our stuff
Okay,
for
I
us.
just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. The room is actually filled with what looks like a fair amount of travelers at the moment, a little bit more than just the local. It's obvious that there is an Imperial wizard who's staying in there. You can see him off in the corner in the robes, just kind of going through some books and just smoking on a pipe and sitting near the fire. Aside of that, this dwarven merchant with this fine cloak kind of came in through the door while you were sitting there. And then you can see that there's some sort of, well, I wouldn't say some sort of, there's definitely this female, well-dressed. She actually seems really beautiful in this copper hair, probably maybe upper-class aristocrat of some sort. She has a couple of individuals who are just kind of fawning over her. They're talking and sharing an early morning coffee. There's a halfling in there as well. You'd actually seen them in there previously. And the two male human merchants that you had interacted with in the common room had come downstairs and were, it looks like, wrapping up their business and checking out. Aside from that, there's a couple of guards in the street outside. You can observe them through the window. They're having a conversation with a couple of individuals, it seems, who brought a wagon in. Everything outside that seems fairly, I don't know, fairly normal.
Seems a bit lively for a place so close to Brayfield. It's nice to see.
It is nice to see people. Things seem to be a bit dreary around here.
Oh no, it's not nice to see people at all.
Ah,
But it is nice that people are about. It's like receiving good news, but still not wanting to be a part of the news, I suppose.
I think I understand what you mean.
Probably not.
So you can see that the two dudes who are with the lady in the aristocratic clothing keep looking over at you and kind of just taking notice of you. And then the lady finally kind of stands up and comes over to you.
No thanks, I'm married.
That's really funny. You have a sense of humor. And I've always heard the opposite of your people. That's
Yes.
really funny, though.
We try very hard to maintain the fact that we, in fact, have no sense of humor.
It's been working, that's for sure. Most of the other houseless elves that live in the area aren't from, obviously, Eredor. Don't seem to understand your ways. I assume being raised in cities away from their culture and their homes is probably difficult on most of them, but I guess they wouldn't miss what they don't know that wasn't there to begin with. Either way, I'm off track. My name is Lady Jane, and I had heard an interesting rumor that somebody matching your descriptions had gotten up to something at the keep last night. I was supposed to be there, but I couldn't quite make it. I had pressing family matters I needed to attend to first.
Ah. Pressing family matters.
Yeah.
We were in
You know,
attendance.
problems of estate and such.
We were in attendance at the ladies' gathering. I'm not sure what you'd call it.
Got to
but-
be honest, the party was ghastly.
See,
Ghoulish,
there's
really.
that sense of humor again, coming right through. I had heard that something had happened. There's a nice little spicy rumor going around Oswell right now that the Lady Ravencroft's personal court wizard has betrayed her.
Well, I can assure you that currently that is still just a rumor. Nothing has been confirmed.
So you can see she actually kind of reaches kind of right near her like clavicle, and there's this like necklace, and she kind of grabs this and just pulls it out and sets it in front of her. It has this interesting little emblem on it, and in it is the symbol for the god. So I have it right here. Going down. Going down. Oh, that's right. I changed it. Yeah, so it has the emblem of Parathor on it, and it's actually fairly plain for someone of her status, it seems. But she kind of just touches it, and you immediately recognize that there's magic attached to the pendant. So you're saying it is a rumor, then?
I'm gonna look her up and down. You said this is the copper-haired lady. She was in kind of a nice dress, right?
Yeah, she's got very fine features. She seems fairly young, probably in her like maybe mid-20s, early 20s, if you were to guess. She has like this almost copperish kind of tone to her skin color, very light brown, copperish hair to kind of match. Almost like a light grayish tone to the irises, though. Maybe like a really washed out green as opposed to like a dark or stark green.
Well, if you're receiving the miracles of Parathor, I have no reason not to trust you anymore. Katarina? How do you feel about being honest with our newfound friend here?
I have been honest so far.
Right, but moving forward, is this something we should choose to do?
Sure, I don't see why not.
Excellent. Take a seat. What would you like to know?
So she kind of just looks at the table. Oh, I'll just sit here. And she gets over there. The two dudes kind of stand up, and she just goes, "It's fine. Just stay over there, and I'll be back with you later. Just watch the door. See who comes in."
Hold my hand up to the server and motion towards the two people. They'll have something to eat.
That's very kind of you.
Yes, I'm working on that.
They'll have something to eat, and the young serving girl kind of just goes over there and starts talking to him for a moment. Distracts him. So, as a cleric of Parathor, I have a lot of, I think, responsibility to the community and people that I interact with. I'm actually on my way to Brayfield, and we decided to stop in Oswell as opposed to camping outside the city. We
Smart.
decided to go to the church. I was going to give thanks and meet with the local priests. But I picked up on an interesting aura from you and you as well together. Didn't expect to run into people like you here.
Didn't expect to run into somebody like you either. It's pleasant. On your way to Brayfield, are you hoping to assist in the siege, or do you have other business?
It seems that the order has called for someone to go and help deal with the spread of disease, and I assume in part to all the death and dying, soldiers are wounded. The engagement has been ongoing as far as I'm aware. Although I haven't had any real word on what's been developing since then. I just started my journey from Vanheim to here a day or so ago.
Well, the Lady Ravencroft is, well, not forthcoming with help, as you well know. And I suspect the reason the party was attacked, specters, some banshees, or a banshee, sorry, largely in part due to our presence.
Ah. So, Lady Ravencroft wasn't the target then? Yourselves were?
She did not seem to be pursued when she was ushered out of the room where the main attack happened.
You know her brother died to a wraith getting in through the castle.
Yes, we heard that.
Fairly recently.
And the news has mostly ran through Vanheim while I was staying there and teaching, and I believe most of the word has reached the capital, Conewald, and everyone's in an uproar over why she's not doing what she should be doing. But I believe the Imperial throne has its own problems at the moment.
A problem with your elector counts and the way the politics work here in Bravatis.
Seems to be the case.
Yes.
Amelia Helmstag seems to be pressuring and pushing the Emperor's son aside at the moment. She has a great deal of support, and she's also a great supporter of Lady Ravencroft as well. As far from what I'm aware, childhood friends and such, met in school, tutored by the same individual. Politics.
Yes.
I try not to be too involved. The church supports the throne, so whoever sits on it is whoever the church will support.
Ideally, yes.
All in all, Amelia's not that terrible. She's just very different. That's all.
We did attend the gathering hoping to persuade her to send reinforcements to Brayfield, but we were unfortunately unsuccessful.
So my guess was right. You are decent individuals in a terrible land and terrible situations.
We try to help where we are able. Or make sure that other help arrives where we are not.
I was told that there were 3 of you. One of you was a warforged. I obviously see that you two, an elf and a human. It's not either of you. Where's your companion?
Right, he's upstairs. We're packing to leave shortly.
Off to Brayfield?
No, up north.
North.
Have
Off to
business.
fight the dragons?
What news of dragons do you have?
Probably the same thing that almost everybody else has heard. Tudorburg is ablaze. The city has fallen. The war isn't going well. The hobgoblins overrun. The politics aren't helping us assist in any of that at the moment.
Right, well, that's where people like us come in to play, is we do our best to skirt the politics.
But of course, the odds are quite high that we end up helping with such incidents.
You know, I'd heard that through other individuals that the vampires, their attacks, and the mustering of troops and troop movements has all been very strategic. Were you down there?
We were.
How long have you been in Oswell?
This is our third, fourth day in total.
So you've been here for a little bit.
We traveled south to Brayfield and helped lift an attack on the fortress.
Oh, so the fortress was attacked then. This is definitely news to me.
Yes, it
Really?
was attacked, and we had the unfortunate displeasure of meeting with the Lady Lacroix.
Interesting. I've never met something like that before in person. I've done a fair share of exorcisms and banning small ghosts and, light undead, turning them, dealing with zombies or skeletons that have risen out of some family's old mausoleum or crypt, but nothing like that before.
Well, a word of advice: if you foresee you might be encountering her or anything like her, proof against poison seemed to be sorely needed.
I'll keep that in mind. Either way, the war up north, the one down here seems like it's faring better at the moment.
Good. I'm happy to hear that.
I can't confirm that this happened, but supposedly a Dragonborn spy was caught in Conwald.
Was that so?
Mm-hmm. And under the protection of the emissary and the ambassador from the Republic of Emrath.
Are you aware that Imrath has recently moved west into Lindstadt?
I haven't heard that.
I believe they have.
There's been no formal declaration of war from the Republic against anybody, as far as I'm aware. This would be news to me. That's quite a brazen move for them to invade someone else's territory like that.
Well, I think that with Bravatus's attention split, perhaps brazen moves are a little bit less risky currently.
Either way, that's news to me. I haven't heard any such news. The last I had heard, the Republic was still solidifying its power. The Emperor was garnering support after the little civil war.
I was informed by an old friend during prayer last night.
So your deity told you then?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
I guess Parathor has seen fit to keep this information from our clergy members.
I imagine Parathor both trusts the actions of his agents, being that there are so many of you so close to home, as well as his respect and duty towards the tablets probably prevents him from some of that.
Well, if it is in fact true that the Republic invaded the Lindstadt Confederacy, then that would place a great deal of the Dragonborn who had immigrated and escaped the Civil War in danger. I wonder if we'll see an influx of them into Midheim. More than likely, Ostrom. Either way, that's unfortunate for them.
Yes.
Most of
unfortunate for all of us.
Most of the kingdoms and lands are just busy dealing with their own problems at the moment. The Civil War and the Hesperian monarchies, nasty.
I was
Either
unaware
way.
of a civil war in Hesperia.
Oh, yes. Yes, the old monarch finally died. Now his two sons are fighting over the throne. So they will be absolutely useless to any other efforts to form any alliances or assist. I was told Lior is in the middle of purging the streets and all those who worship and even speak of dragons, which wouldn't surprise me considering what people have been seeing and what we've witnessed. I was told that dragons of enormous size and great quantity have been seen coming over the mountains.
Which mountains? From the east?
Yeah, the King's Triumph Mountains. Some have even said that dragons have been moving from the south, from the Republic across the territories. I myself haven't seen any yet, but it's too many accounts to be completely made up. Even the Imperial spies say that they've witnessed a great deal of movement of people from area to area, and the cult of domination is making people very, very weary.
Katerina, I'd like to ask the Lady Jane some questions, but I don't want to violate your privacy. would it be alright if I brought up some of our more recent dealings, some of your more recent dealings?
Yes, that's all right.
How long have you been in this area, working in Oswell and Vanheim, Brayfield?
Let's see. Vanheim. 2 years, I believe.
What do you know of the Tower of Falbats?
Ah, I see. Well, from what I understand, from more or less the legends, that it was once a wizard's tower. And then he left at some point in time, years ago. This is long, long before my time. About that time, though, there was a strange change in the kinds of evil creatures that would wander through Midheim. Midheim has always had its fair share of problems, from what I understand, but around the time the wizard abandoned the tower is when the fell bats began to show up. And they always seem to, I don't know, I guess, migrate that direction at certain times of the year or certain times of night and day. There's a great host of them there, as far as I'm aware.
Do you know if anyone has taken up residence inside?
No, that would be news to me if someone did.
I've heard a rumor that it is a witch of great power, and I believe we encountered her last night.
That's interesting. Last night where? At the keep.
At the keep? Yes.
So someone has taken up residence there. And is using it for what, then?
That's a good question. I know she has close ties to the Shadowfell. Oh, there you are. This is our compatriot Locke.
Yeah, I've got
Ah.
one bag
Hello, Locke.
slung over, one in the hand. Who's this?
This would be the Lady Jane, an agent of Parathor.
All right.
Is there a proper title? Cleric, I heard you say.
Cleric. Cleric, servant of Parathor, Lord of Light and Wisdom, yada yada, and all the other fancy titles that come with it. I've only been a cleric for a few years now.
All right. Well, it's good to meet you. Preparing the horses, unless this is important.
I'd say
You know, Eredor is very far. Did you travel from there across the channel, across the Royal Sea, by ship?
I did not. I took an Elven Waystone.
Melvin Waystone.
Yes.
I've never even seen one of those. I've heard about them, though. Instantaneous travel, teleportation, gates between realms, and such rumors. There's a great deal of reference material to the magic that was being used to create them in archives and books and scrolls kept in the Imperial Academy.
In Cornwall,
Yes. What humans know of them, at least.
more and more signs point that we should eventually go there.
Either way, the reason I ask is because I, as my duties as a cleric and the representative of Parathor, I've traveled fairly far myself over these last few years. 2 years here, but 5 years amongst the land and traveling and preaching and teaching those about the ways of Parathor, including as far as across the sea to the Kadar Sultanate.
Really?
It's a fascinating place.
Well, then you've definitely been far from home.
I've spent some time there. Briefly.
Tell me, Lady Jane, when you were so far from home, how did you cope with being so far from active shrines of Parathor and your own people?
Oh, well, wherever I go, his presence is with me.
Very true, but sometimes it helps to have that reinforcing presence of other people whose lives he has touched.
He's worshipped far and wide across the wherever humans live. I found my ways and I found my places, and then I always had my personal belief and faith in him to go with me, of course.
Sure. It's just nice to hear the praise of one's deities from the mouth of others.
The Seldarin has always fascinated me. The elven gods in their place. There's a great deal of them, many. Very different domains than the main gods. Either way, the reason I bring it up is I had suspected for years that what was happening now would happen. You know, those that live in the southern realms are never quite far enough away from the Drakenrath and from Shadowzar.
Right.
They're never quite far. I had met many Dragonborn in Kadar. Either those from Emrath or those who still live underneath the rule and tyranny of the chromatic dragons in Shadowzar. You know, the war never really ended for them.
Interesting. You encounter people who foretold the return of Takesis?
A few times, I had discussed with worshippers of Tiamat what it means for her to come and how she would rule over Terrowyn and all such prophecies. Many scholarly debates. They're very zealous about their belief in her and what she means to the world. I tried to warn that it felt like this was something different. That the civil war in Emrath was a sign of greater things to come, and now we see dragons flying in the skies again, laying waste to cities, burning whole fields of crops. Open warfare in the north with an army of hobgoblin mercenaries backed by dragons and their magic.
It is a daunting vision, for sure.
And then in the north, might as well be a whole different world than ours. Kriot, Trusk, Roenheim, they want nothing to do with what's happening. Either way,
Yes, well,
I think I'll visit Lady Ravencroft today then as well, and maybe cleanse her keep.
you can. I know that she had wards protecting in her room, but if a wizard can just walk right in and summon the undead, that is a serious problem. And we may not agree with her politically ourselves, but still, when a leader is killed, the populace is thrown into chaos.
All the more reason why it makes sense that the rumor about her court wizard is more than likely true.
Do you know who this man is over here, this wizard in the corner?
She just kind of turns and looks. Judging based on his robes and his demeanor, definitely a wizard from the Imperial College in Cornwall. But
Interesting.
I'm not familiar with him, no. Probably headed the same direction I am. I should probably ask him to accompany me.
Would be wise. I'm sure the Brayfield run, well, I don't know if it's still as dangerous as it was when we left, but still, it is no joke. I'm sure you've made it before.
The guards here told me when I arrived last night that Trollocs had been seen in large hunting packs roaming the most eastern borders. That the Dutch,
We had a run-in with some of
duchies.
them.
That the borderline duchies are being assailed by large herds of them at the moment. And Noth
Okay.
seems to be emptying, which is adding another problem to the list of many problems that are currently befalling the Empire.
Feels as if whatever battle eventually transpires, it'll happen here in Bravatus.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Well, if you're set on leaving, then I won't hold you. Actually, you visited the church here, you said.
No, it was on my list of things to do today.
I definitely recommend doing that. I left a dark artifact there with them.
kind of artifact?
A sword of the Wild Hunt.
Sword of the Wild Hunt. Found where?
The village.
How could you come by such an artifact?
We stumbled upon a small village, the one just actually northwest of Oswell, the small one near the crow's nests.
Huh.
It had been raided by the Wild Hunt, and
It was definitely abandoned and damaged when they came this way. That's for sure.
yes,
I didn't see any signs of anything else having happened, though. I assume that's because you and your compatriots went through there first, then.
mostly yes.
That's unfortunate. It's a very small community. Just a few families. Maybe 36 people living there or so.
Unfortunately, we did not pass through there soon enough.
I wouldn't worry about that. You might have just ended up being victims of the Wild Hunt yourselves had you been there.
It's possible.
The Formless One's touch has always been on the world. We can't escape his agents. We can't escape the taint of his malice and his magic. He'll forever be a plague on our world.
A plague, yes, but he was defeated, and
Yes, by the gods.
operates in the only fashion he can now, through bars. Well, I think we're about ready to leave then. We do have quite a trip. We have friends to meet on the way.
Oh, I see.
Yes, we travel with other highly capable companions.
I would assume no less based on what I've seen here. I just wanted to meet you and ask you if it was true.
It was.
Well, then I shall meet with Lady Gravencroft, check the wards, and sanctify her keep, and do my best to put her at ease. And I will also do my best to try to convince her to send troops to assist in Brayfield, since I'm headed that way anyways.
Please
That
do.
would be very much appreciated.
Well, if our paths should meet again, and I'm alive, I will let you know what happened on my journey.
I'd like that.
Safe travels to you then.
And
Safe
may
travels.
the light of Parathor always be upon you.
Thank you. She kind of like stands up and walks away, heads back over to where the other two gentlemen are, and they just immediately stand up and they go out the front door together.
See, she should have said, and may the wisdom of the Seldarine grant peace to you. But she's probably a little uneducated, being only a cleric for 2 years. Don't get me wrong, I actually really enjoyed her company.
You know, and I hand you your bag. You're very fastidious.
Yes, this is excellently packed, Locke. Fantastic.
Before I hand it, I like shake it. It doesn't even make noise.
No, that's why it's packed the way it is.
Right.
You've noticed my armor doesn't make noise either.
How long did it take you? Because, and then I mean, she packs light, but still a little noisy. You got also that so much in there.
I have had several hundred years of practice.
Just dedicated to packing correctly.
Yes, well, one should seek excellence in all things.
All right. Well, your things are packed. I don't think I missed anything. I was gonna do the horses while you ate. Are you still? I can still prepare the horses while you eat.
No, I've finished eating. I packed the rest with me.
Right.
Maybe I'll eat some of the lamb in front of Godric.
He'll love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems like we're making a name for ourselves in Privatus.
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? One will receive more of the help that we need, but our enemies become more aware of what we're doing.
Let them come. I'm confident in our abilities.
We are quite capable.
For everyone that smashes against us, It's one less hurting someone else.
I like that.
We'll break their tide.
Break the tide. Sounds like a good war cry for Godric. Could you imagine him just screaming if this hammer goes flying by and then he comes crashing through the bushes, screaming something about breaking the tide? He'll say it slightly different, though. He's got to put his own flair on everything.
It's true.
Don't tell him, but his war cries are kind of... Well, they are intimidating. He's loud.
Well, I think he could shout anything and it would be loud and intimidating.
We should try to get him to do that. Like maybe if he shouted
What are those
daisies or daffodils.
flowers? It's true, they are delicate. Not very intimidating.
Right, but if he yelled it, perhaps it would be.
I'm sure it would. What do you think?
Maybe we could tell him it's a game.
Shout the least intimidating item you can as a war cry. See how many goblins you can knock over. That sort of
I like
thing.
it. Goblins, though, perhaps we avoid them.
Well, or, Trollocs or
Just
whatever.
don't want to put Trin through the existential crisis of killing his own kind.
You, or maybe not you, but humans kill their own kind all the time. It happens.
Yes, the trick is to realize they are no longer your own kind.
Well, to the horses.
Why did you do that? Yes,
What are you talking about?
I think I'll travel light. Now that I remember I'm going to be riding with somebody, I'll pack the armor.
Well, my poor horses. Already burdened heavy with my riding. But I can take some of the extra care to make your saddle more comfortable.
The armor isn't particularly heavy. In fact, it's lighter than leather, but it is still hard as steel. I don't think Katarina would like to be leaning on steel the entire ride.
Fair enough. I'll take it on.
Right, shall we?
We shall.
All right, we'll head out.
Yep.
On. All right, so you stand up and push in your chairs, and as you push in your chair, the building shakes,
That's good.
Why?
and then it stops. And a couple of people, like the innkeeps and a couple of people sitting around, just kind of look, and they look over at the three of you.
It's a fair assumption, but it wasn't us.
The wizard jumps out of his chair and kind of stands up, and then the building shakes again,
Everyone down under the tables.
and it kind of just carries through the city. Like you can almost hear the sound of the shaking cross over, and there's a massive burst of just wind that kind of just drops into the city.
Yes.
I'm gonna run out the front door.
I'm gonna follow.
Yeah, of
Katarina.
course.
I've got one arm of my armor off as I was trying to take it off on the way out anyway.
Those tables aren't gonna help them if a dragon attacks, but maybe they'll feel like they're safer until they
Oh my
die.
A slow buildup of shouting is in the streets as people begin to panic outside.
That's good. Panic is good.
And then the building shakes again,
Mm-hmm.
and a bunch of people in the street just kind of fall to the ground, and you see a shadow just pass straight over the building and over the city. And you look through the window, people are outside pointing up at the air.
Yeah, I'm heading out there and
Oh, yeah.
trying
So,
to see what's
following
up.
your instructions, most of the people on the inside just get down underneath the tables for a moment and hide. And you can see, people just the panic in their eyes as they're looking out at you. And the wizard runs to the front door, pops it open, and runs and looks straight up in the air. And as you follow and hit the streets and look up, you see the large shape of a dragon circling above the city.
Oh shit!
Can we tell what color it is?
Make a
What do
perception
my
check.
elf eyes see?
Make a perception check.
Oh
Yeah,
man!
your perception check is going to be a lot better than mine.
Do yours with advantage if she's helping you try to identify it.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
do yours with advantage.
All right. Then just roll your die, and that'll be my advantage die.
Okay.
Mine's 12 on the die.
Mine was so close to being an 18, but it's a 5.
Okay. It's a
They always do
dirty
that.
20.
Yeah, to that last.
A dirty
Sorry, it's a 19.
Well, a 20.
Nope.
As it's kind of swooping downwards, you can see based on the design of the horns, the length of the wings, that you're probably looking at what more than likely equates to your best guesstimate is probably close to either a young to adult ranged red dragon.
Fuck.
So
Let's do it.
Oh no.
it begins to drop in towards the city, and you can see it's flapping its wings, and it's in this arcing position, with its wings swept back, and it kind of just drops down the city, and you feel the burst of air from the wings as it comes down towards the rooftops and just sweeps through, picking up dirt and dust. As it does so, it's very clear that this is a very large red dragon. It's not a worm or great worm or ancient dragon size, but this is definitely a hefty adult-sized red dragon that is kind of just buzzing the city at the moment. And people are panicking in the streets, and you can hear the guards shouting, and immediately, like, alarm bells are ringing, and people are attempting to evacuate the city as it's coming down. But it continues to do it 2 more times as you're observing, but it doesn't actually attack the city at all. It's just flying around. As it comes down one last time, you see the buildup of orange glow in its chest that comes up to its throat. And we're going to take a break.
Oh no! Wow!
No.
Wow!
And here I heard their age had passed. Something witcher this way comes.
As the city of Oswell kind of erupts into a pure panic, you had looked up and saw that the dragon was, this adult red dragon, this large dragon, was preparing its breath weapon and was angling to come in and just probably strafe the city. And as it begins its dive, and you can see the flames kind of just start to come out of its mouth from between its teeth, and it opens up its jaws to do so, 3 or 4 winged shadows fly over the top of you. And you look up, and coming out of the blind spot from the opposite side of the dragon, you see 4 individuals, knights riding griffins.
Ooh, are they about to get roasted?
And one after another, they strike the dragon, which roars out across the city and turns to face them and fight them. And you kind of watch this unfolding, this scene up above the city. The dragon flapping its wings and kind of just drifting backwards and lifting its body up and aiming its breath weapon at them. You can see that the Griffin Riders are very aptly and definitely just dodging around the fire and distracting it as whenever an opening is presented, another Griffin Rider, another knight will just strike it with like a weapon or like a lance or a sword or some sort of spear. And one of them appears to be wielding magic because the dragon casts a spell, and you see it in its claws, it forms, and a flaming sphere kind of begins to appear in the sky, and this radiating heat comes off of it, but the spell is immediately put out by one of the Griffin Knights. And slowly, as the fighting unfolds, the people kind of seem to stop what they're doing, and the panic resides a little bit. Begins to kind of calm down as everybody's just enthralled with what they're seeing. And this battle is just strike after strike, and the dragon just begins to get wounded, and you can see visibly that it's having a hard time flying, and it can't seem to get a hold of them, no matter how hard it tries. and eventually turns to flee. And a spell strikes it. A lightning bolt from one of the Griffin Knights hits it, and it goes sinking, descending outside of your field of view, outside the city, and just you hear a large thud in the forest.
We have to go.
Yes.
Agreed.
Okay.
All right.
I start trying to put my armor back on. I thrust I just kind of like toss my glaive in Locke's direction, and then I mount your horse.
Slipping in the horse's saddle. I mount
All
up.
right. As soon as Altheon's on, I'll take off and start riding towards where the dragon fell.
Check something here real quick on the lighting.
Freak it out.
Let me check something real quick.
So,
The dragon's HP is
At the
0.
very least, this is not the first dragon to die. Like, Godric got to see the first dragon.
If it's still alive.
Well, no, I was talking about he's talking about the flashback. The dragon.
Oh, what if this is the one that got away?
I know, that's what I was thinking about the whole time. I'm like, I'm not there! I'm not there!
Fixed. Yeah. Thingamabobber disconnected, so I had to reconnect to it and reset the light or whatever.
The ball.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. You'll allow it?
Yeah. It's allowed.
All right.
So
So
audible on the play.
kind of shooing people out of the way and moving them aside and yelling at them to create a way for you to exit the city. The eastern gate opens, and you kind of just ride in the direction of where this. You're pretty sure the red dragon had like fallen, and you look up, and the Griffin Knights, the 4 of them, begin to kind of like descend and give you a more accurate depiction of where it's going to be. And you can see like, I guess like a very light amount of like smoke, probably from a fire or something that started. Like on the other side of this set of hills, past beyond like these trees, this grove of trees that has running along the top of the hills over there. And you kind of just kick the horses in and start riding. Who doubled up?
We did.
Katarina,
You doubled
yeah.
up. Okay. You start riding over there. So after a few minutes, you hit the past the trees and find this old path, this like old trail, and it takes you up over the top of the hill, and out in this field of just like barley is this body of this red dragon just sprawled out on it, and it had just crashed in and tore away through the center of this field, and some of the field has like caught fire at this point from the heat of its body just laying there. And the Griffin Knights have already landed, and the Griffins are just kind of milling about right there, and the Knights are on foot just checking the dragon, it seems, and making sure it's down and dead.
Locke, can you put that fire out?
I can do my best.
I'll when we get closer, I'll dismount and start moving towards the knights.
I will do the same.
Gotcha.
I don't have anything like control fire or anything, so what I have is going to be very intrusive. I go stand in the little flames and then just clap my hands and thunderclap, and the everything around me just extinguishes. Probably damages the wheat too, but hey, better than open fire.
Wheat, but hay.
Ha! Get it? Because they're kind of similar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate you still.
Yeah.
A little bit more tonight than usual. Just to let you know.
So I'm just like taking steps forward and making a big, loud boom.
His dad jokes are just really ingrained.
Oh my god.
What are you gonna do? Kill me with a dragon? Nope.
Fair enough.
This one was the child, the dad's coming.
What do you think the dragon was doing before it got here? Meanwhile, back on the road, Train gets gobbled up.
So, as you kind of approach, they don't hear you coming at first, but as soon as Locke casts the first spell, like they all spin around, and the Griffins turn and just kind of run over to get between you and the Knights, and just stare at you and like almost give like kind of like a low like low growl like sound, and then their feathers just kind of fluff out a little bit.
I just keep going. I assume they'll understand what I'm doing after I put out some more of the flame.
I'll put my hands up. We mean no harm. We're trying to help, but it appears you don't need any.
Griffins are royal. I'll bow.
Okay. So you see Ultheon just kind of take a bow.
I will follow his lead.
After that, the griffins kind of just relax for a moment. A couple of them still looking at Locke as he's casting this spell over and over again. But you hear a voice come from behind him as a figure steps through, donned in this ornate, like Gothic style armor with this closed helm, and he takes it off. He has like this, these like griffin feathers like coming out from the collar around the back.
So cool.
This like darkened armor, and he has this like kind of like long sword. Kind of just steps forward and hail to you adventurers. What this is a dangerous place to be at the moment.
Yes, well, we came to offer service, but it doesn't seem as if you'll need it.
Oh, I don't think so. I believe we have it under control. And then while Locke's trying to put it out with his hands while using Thunderclap and just like making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
You hear a spell cast on the other side of the griffins, just kind of out of line of sight. And the voice, like an enchanting voice, kind of just calls out, and then like rain just starts to fall from the sky.
I had to do it.
I want to learn this spell.
Oh.
Like control weather sort of thing, or like just like rain
localized?
more close together.
Make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Counter spell.
This is my job.
Sorry, it's an automatic function.
Yeah.
That's my programming.
Yeah.
Arcana, you said? That'd be a 21.
It's on a macro. A what?
21.
Yeah, some sort of localized weather spell.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Is there
Forgot.
anything we can do to help?
no, I don't believe so. I believe we have it under control.
Or any of your men injured?
No, none of us were injured in the fight.
We have
Incredible.
encountered dragons before.
Oh, have you now?
Since I was kind of moving along, and I assumed I was moving towards its head, I want to see if I recognize it as the one that was in
from
the
Lyon?
throne room.
From Marseille?
Make a nature check.
Nature, you got it.
Well, either way, we've dealt with it, and it seems to be dead, and I think we'll leave it at that. Call it a victory for the day.
Call it a victory for the day. You've just slain a dragon. Is this routine for you?
It's our job during war to do so, yes.
Just the four of you, and none of you were so much as injured.
No, there was more than 4 of us, but the 5 of us got the final blows, yes. We had chased it this direction from the east and tracked it over the last week to find its lair, and then the 12 of us attacked it.
So I kind of stepped towards it and kind of 11.
Doesn't look necessarily familiar. No, the horns are wrong. The teeth are too new. The orbs are just not quite. They're more deeply moving towards that molten gold look at this point, which means this adult dragon is probably fairly old and maybe old enough to have been pushing like Great Worm age at that point, like getting there. But it's definitely not the same one. The horns are all wrong. They don't have the right bend and twist in the top.
Fair enough.
Either way, we appreciate the offer of assistance, and regardless of your familiarity with dragons and fighting them, we seem to have taken care of this one.
We are working with an inquisitor by the name of Clara. We have her blessing to be working in the area. I was wondering if perhaps it wouldn't be too much harm to take a scale from the dragon. We are actively fighting against their kind.
While I do appreciate that you have a seal and you have more or less, the patronage of an inquisitor supporting you, this dragon is technically property of the imperial family. We killed it, and its parts will be taken, stripped down, and used to function to better build armor and arms for the coming battles for others. So, in my duties, it would be negligent for me to allow you to take any sort of trophies from it or rewards, especially since you didn't kill it yourselves.
Understood. I was planning on using it more for a spell, but I understand all the same to you. Then...
Well, I didn't get your names. You didn't introduce yourselves either.
Oh, I am...
Sir Helmund.
Helmund? Well met. I am Lawmaster Ulthian Amadir.
Well met, Lawmaster Ulthir.
Just Katerina.
Just Katerina. No last name?
Grey Castle.
Doesn't sound familiar. Either way, well met, Lady Greycastle, Katerina. And you, sir? Your kind usually only has a singular name.
That's correct.
What is yours?
My friends call me Locke.
Is there a story behind it, or they just call you Locke?
Oh, before I was reawakened, I was holding a door closed, apparently.
Interesting. Either way. Not the first Warforged I've ever met, but it's an interesting story. All the same, we'll be waiting for guards to arrive from Oswald to help us deal with moving the creature and dissecting it, and I'm sure the alchemists there will end up selling some parts to them. So if we do end up selling some of the parts of the dragon to Oswald into the city, you might be able to pick up some of those parts that you're looking for inside the alchemy shops.
Sure. Well, then I suppose we are done here.
Yes.
I want to...
Oh no.
I want a subtle spell try to detect thoughts. Something is fishy. Something is fishy. I want to try to read his mind.
I agree. Fish or a foot?
Fish are afoot. They should be in the river, but they're afoot.
Yeah, they're a foot.
That's a smelly foot.
It's a super smelly foot.
Super duper. Reveal your secrets to me.
It's a what level spell? It's second level, right?
Second.
Second level, detect thoughts.
A subtle second.
And so you want to...
I subtle cast it so I don't have to say or do
Okay.
anything. I can just kind of cast it
No, I got you.
subtly.
No, there is another caster in the area, so I'm going to have to figure out whether or not they can pick up on the fact that you're manipulating the weave. So we'll see how that goes.
No, it's just that crazy robot over there. Ignore what she's doing.
So let's see.
Something's
Gosh,
fishy.
deflection.
I don't...
How subtle is a subtle spell?
I don't
Very.
have to do any somatic or verbal
Lock?
components.
You should
So I can be completely still.
gaslight.
I guess if there was a
She's not
material
casting a spell, you're
component,
casting
like
a
this
spell.
one
What are you
has a
talking about?
copper
That was
piece as a
me.
material
I did-
Oh, well,
component.
that would have been really bad for you because I accidentally generated a level 20 character. So let's not do that.
Don't
I
put
just
those
tried to
buttons.
read his
I was like, what is this? I was like, what is this wish?
Obliterated.
That came up on the sheet.
Wish is a good spell, I've
Yeah.
heard.
I
That's
wish
it.
I knew if Katarina was casting the spell.
Like this one has a material component of a copper piece, so I'm probably like fiddling with just a
Okay.
copper piece in my hands,
So,
but that's the most
Arcana,
that anybody would
It's not
see.
bad.
I am,
All right. Yeah, spell goes off just fine without anyone being the wiser. So the surface level thoughts are basically of the safety of the people of the town and relief. He's relieved, and then they have wounded compatriots elsewhere that they need to tend to. So they're really hoping that they can get moving, and he was about to give the order to one of the other knights to fly back to find the rest of their compatriots. They have a camp that has cages, and they have a cleric of Parathor there, and a whole bunch of other people to help like deal with fighting the dragons, tracking them. And you see like a surface level. It's like he picks up on it subtly. His mind is just kind of sliding in, and then you pick up a picture of a map of like the Empire, and like there's a table and a room, and he's talking to people, and then you can see pieces on the board, like little wooden squares in the different regions of the Empire, and then you can see this really large singular dragon piece, like on Emrath, and then one off the map on the side, and then you see one in Teutoburg, and then you see a lot of these other like opposite colored wood bricks in Teutoburg, and like kind of pushing in towards Conewald and Reichland. And then right on Reichland, there's this big, like almost crown, like designed, like wood block with a crown on it, sitting right on it.
Ooh.
And then that thought kind of just slides away, and then he goes back to worrying about his compatriots.
Well, I guess our assistance is not needed here. We can get back to the road.
May as well. Hopefully the rain hasn't dowered the entire path.
He kind of, as he's walking up, he kind of like one of the griffins like leans in on him, and he kind of just throws his arm up and like hits it, like touches it, pats it for a second, and it just kind of shakes its head and its feathers, and he just turns to you, looks over his shoulder at first, and then follows through by just turning all the way around. You're obviously not from Bravadis.
True.
Have you seen any other strange... I don't know what's the best way to put this. Have you seen any other dragons in the region? Have you seen this one before here?
In the region, no. There was a green dragon in Green Crest. There was a smaller red in... Where were you?
We were in Marseille.
In Marseille. And I don't remember if we've seen anything else.
The
Not
dead
recently.
one at the vampire
Yes, the
road.
dead one in Brayfield, the vampire's pet.
Yes, we're well aware of that one.
I believe
Been
that's all
around for
we've
far
seen.
too
There's
We met
news
with
of a white dragon
some-
in Finrelden.
Yes.
Huh. Well,
Well, like I said, we're actively hunting them.
I see. Working for the state, for the Empire, or just for yourselves? Seeking fortune, adventure?
Independent.
Honest answer? I suppose
We
we'll...
do represent a large coalition of many of the other states
The Banner
on
Alliance.
on the continent.
So you're agents of the Banner Alliance?
We are friends of the Banner Alliance, not agents.
What,
We
do
do not
they
res-
employ you?
No, we are simply working together to pull the threat that is the dragons of Takesis.
Interesting. I feel that you know more that you're letting on, especially with telling me that Takesis is involved. Have you seen any Dragonborn in the area?
Dragonborn. I don't
I don't recall.
believe.
He kind of starts walking towards you, gets close.
Yes,
There-
we saw one in Brayfield. He was a commander.
No, I'm aware of him and the other individuals that serve in the Red Company.
I believe that's the only one.
I
we've
mean
seen.
anybody else on the roads. In passing, inquiring. Have you spoken to any that seemed like they didn't belong or weren't from here?
No one stood out to me.
Is this question leading towards the unlawful arrest of a Dragonborn simply for being a Dragonborn.
Not an unlawful arrest, just trying to track the movements of individuals within the borders of the Empire. We're looking for somebody.
Well, who are you looking for?
If you told us, we
Hold
could
on
help
one
keep an
moment.
eye out.
And he calls out a name.
I'm gonna
An
lean
individual.
over and
He says, Westeve, come here.
I'm gonna lean over and whisper in Katarina's ear. We do know about Tirothan. Are we keeping that a secret?
I haven't decided yet.
All right. Well, then I'll follow your lead.
So another knight approaches with the helmet off. He's got these kind of black hair and has a scar like right on the side of the face that comes down all the way like from the top down by the lip and a little bit down onto the chin as well. This is our unit's wizard. He's trained at the Imperial College of Magic.
Is he the one
He's-
that we saw in...
Yes. Yeah. He's going to stand here for a moment while I discuss these details with you.
Yes, and cast his zone of truth and
No, he doesn't have such powers. He specializes in war magic. But outside that, he did spend time as a spy as well. So, we have other methods. There is a black dragonborn that we're interested in finding. Have you seen? You said it was a green dragon in Greencrest, correct?
yes,
In the Central Vale.
yes, a dragon by the name of Riven.
So you've met him then?
On more than one occasion.
On more than one occasion.
We're actively
What did you
against each other.
upset him? Why would you run into him more than once?
Like I said, we're hunting the agents of Takesis, and
You
he
could
is
say-
one of them.
He has taken a special interest. We've been a bit of a thorn in his side. We hope to be a much greater thorn in his side as soon as we are able.
She says it.
Where were you headed?
Stamp my glaive. North.
2?
Vanheim.
So you kind of...
We have Inquisition business there.
I see. So Wesif comes over, and he kind of whispers something to him. He turns around, says something back. Make a perception check for me.
Elf
What
ears.
color is Terathan? What color dragonborn is he?
I believe I told you he was black.
Okay.
Yep.
Sweet. I think I forgot, but that could be who they're looking for.
9.
So you only overhear if they provide the seal from the Inquisition, they could probably be trusted. But you don't hear what Wesif says in response to Hellman when he says that. So Wesif kind of steps forward. Lawmaster? A lady? I guess, sir? If you're here on official Inquisition business, do you have a writ of passage or of work to be done to prove what you say?
Of course.
So he kind of walks
I did
forward,
that. No. There it is.
comes forward and grabs it, brings it back over to Hellman, opens it, look at it for a moment. Everything looks in order, sir. He just rolls it up, walks over to you and hands it back. Well, if you wouldn't mind, we can probably fly you to Vanheim for your business.
That would help us immensely.
We do have some companions on the road that we need
Well,
to...
we can grab them on the way.
Excellent.
Yes.
It changed.
I could send guards to grab the horses and take whatever other belongings you have, but I think it's important that we speak to the Inquisition together then. Because it seems that Riven is an important player in the cult of domination's going-ons in Bravadis. And his second in command, his master of spies, we know is located nearby, but we can't pinpoint where he is.
And that's the black dragonborn you speak of?
Yes. He has many names, but we're pretty sure his name is Tirothan. At least the alias he's using locally.
Him we do know of. We believe that he is in Vanheim currently.
I would like to devise a plan to lead Riven into an ambush using Tirathan. Riven is Andrakar's commander in this theater. We know this to be the truth. And we've been actively searching for him. If he has a direct issue with you and has taken an issue in you and your group...
Before we go on, I want to kind of lean down and touch my forehead and then cast See Invisibility so I can see any scrying orbs.
So as you do that, the wizard is like, I already have it under control. There's nobody here listening. We're aware.
He's taken great interest in us and has spied on us more than once.
Yes.
Is there a large temple for Bahamut in Vanheim?
I wouldn't say a large temple. I wouldn't even really call it much of a temple at all. In Old Vanheim, there is ruins of a church of Parathor that have been repurposed as a temple of Bahamut, and they've built a shrine to him there.
Well, that was what Terathan was wearing as a necklace of the Church of Bahamut.
I believe that Terrafan may be presenting as a priest or some of Bahamut.
All of the cult of domination seems to have infiltrated most of the more regular cults that wander the land. Children of Bahamut, Dragon Reasonableness.
Well, the Bahamut worshippers in Old Vanheim seem their religion is hijacked, it seems.
Yes, more than
by
likely.
the cult of
I
domination.
believe that that is where Terrafan is hiding. They call it the Sanctuary.
Yes.
It's not the first time that we've encountered this.
Might I have just a moment to confer with my friends before deciding to accept your offer of light?
Sure.
Thank you.
Come to a conclusion quickly, though. The Griffins are powerful flyers and can go a long distance, but we've already been at the end of a long chase and battle.
Right. Fair enough. We will be respectful. I'm going to take a couple steps away from the others and kind of...
Mm-hmm.
I see no reason or problem that we should accept all of this. But I have to say I'm having a bit of an existential crisis. I don't know the right word for it, but I have always wanted... Back home we have these eagles, the Redfire eagles. The legend is... well, it doesn't matter. They're supposedly part of Phoenix stock. But the point is I've always wanted to fly on one, and this may be the closest chance I ever get to experiencing that. So I just need you to know right now that if we vote no, I'm going to cry.
Huh.
Well, I guess if you feel so strongly about it, I'm all right with riding the Griffins to Vanheim.
Yes, well, of course, it's also the most tactical decision of the group, and it saves us an immense amount of time.
Of course.
Those are also important considerations, but I'm more worried about your feelings than anything else.
Are you making fun of me?
Not at all.
She's making fun of me.
Maybe a little.
We're friends, that's what we do.
Point being, this has to happen.
And it will.
Excellent. Perhaps one of you can accept, though. I'm feeling...
So I just turn around.
Tongue-tied.
We accept. Well,
Thank you.
your most gracious offer.
Good. The Griffins can handle 3 of you plus your friends easily. We'll double up on some of the mounts, and we should be off then.
Then the
What are
hardest...
your friends? What do they look like? How far are they?
Our friends are a bugbear, a
You
fox,
see both the knights look at each other for a moment.
a bugbear, a fox, and a goblin.
And a Goliath.
Oh, yes, and Godric. He is a Goliath. A very large Goliath. But we found a Clydesdale that actually does all right at carrying him, so I'm sure the Griffins would be fine.
And they could be anywhere between a day or half a day's ride away from Oswell towards Vanheim.
We should be able to sweep the road no problem on our way there.
They certainly
From the
should
height
be
we'll be
easy to
flying
spot.
at. So Weesip comes up to him. He's like, the relief is already on the way. Take control of the dragon. All right. Commander. He turns and walks away. And he goes, and the griffins kind of just meander on over, and the other knights jump on top of theirs, and they start walking towards you. And Hellman just kind of looks down from his after climbing up and just, well, hold on then.
I hold on to get pulled on.
Yeah. And they lift you up.
Yeah.
And you climb on the back of these massive griffins. These the royal griffins. And
You guys are gonna get a surprise.
I don't
Ah.
I'm holding on very tightly to
Surprise,
whoever's
motherfucker.
flying the one I'm on.
Yeah.
Surprise,
They fly now?
I pull the scarf portion of my cloak around my face to conceal my smile.
Nice. Alright. I like it. Alright.
He must be cold.
Very
It was
subtle.
kind of windy. It was kind of windy. So, yeah, that's good fun. So,
What
The
is,
griffins
what is
kind of
Godric
rear
gonna
back.
see?
and they start powering these powerful strokes of their wings, and they start lifting off, and their claws kind of pulling up the dirt and ground with them. And going up, you catch like the breeze from the air just kind of flowing over the area, and you see as you get maybe like 25, 30 feet up, as they start moving forward and flying, and you look back and you can see just like how much damage the dragon caused and how it scraped through the earth and dug into it and just completely ran through the ground. Behind you, coming in as you're leaving, is another set of Griffin Knights, like 3 of them that come in and kind of land near where the dragon was and dismount. And as you kind of pick up speed and go forward, the wind just continues to like lash at your face and just pull up as they gain speed and altitude, and the world just suddenly, everything gets so much smaller as you fly up into the air. And these extremely acrobatic and agile creatures, it's actually a little unnerving how the saddle kind of sways. But you're assured by the knights that you're riding with that they're designed to do that, to work with the natural wing and hip movements of the griffin and their natural agility. You kind of just circle up and they fly up towards the clouds, and you kind of just pop through the cloud top to see the sun coming down through, and you just kind of fly up there for a moment. So far above the top of the world, you just see this nice flat white clouds below you, and every once in a while the knights, who are obviously very skilled and enjoy what they do, like one of them, the one you're riding, Katarina, kind of just dips down, and the griffin just kind of runs its claws through the top of the clouds and just pulls it back up.
I squeeze tighter.
Yeah. And you just fly for a few moments and go out looking for your friends. The wind just whipping by you. It's quiet is one of the things that you pick up on, and feels fresh, and just you could see the mountains in the distance, miles out. You can see the dead peaks, the vampire aristocracy, as you're flying away from it. Meanwhile,
when did this guy get purple?
Oh,
purple.
it's not purple.
No, it
Godric,
is.
and
I'm looking at it.
I'm not your father.
When did your ears get longer?
And they were always like that. It's
Start tugging away.
that was very, very rude and kind of intimate.
They just got longer, and I'm confused.
They were always that length. They're not changing. It's fine. I think we're pretty far away from the night goblins now.
Your ear is growing. I can see it.
Well, they grow with age. It's one of those things that never stops growing on a goblin, you see.
I'm gonna take my snake and go elsewhere.
Well, at least go off the side of the road.
As I start talking to the snake in my hand that is still a bag.
Bag in your hand that is still a snake.
No, it's a snake. That is
It's an actual snake. The bag's long gone.
Snake's looking around like,
I found the bag.
Biting him.
Snake talks to you in Locke's voice. Did you study your letters today?
Letters.
letters.
S is for snake.
Yes, S is for snake. What other letters can you do?
Y is for you and me.
Now there's multiple snakes, and they're dancing, line dancing, and singing to you.
Trent's eyes.
Yeah,
C is for can.
I didn't know the snakes could do the can.
The whole world is painted.
So, as you're riding down the road, and you're trying to keep Godric A on the horse, and working really hard at all of that.
Oh, when is he gonna get to the sick point?
Yeah. Well, he definitely, it's coming. You've seen him come close, very close, like, "Whoa, whoa." No, I feel better. On multiple occasions. But
He's in the phantom vomit.
in this serene, open, area stretch of road with the tall grass and these rolling hills that just go on for miles, and eventually just kind of crash into the river that runs all the way down to Vanheim. These kind of clouds have been rolling in, and there's a moment where you're looking and kind of enjoying the view, and you see a couple of shapes in the sky way up there in the cloud cover, and they kind of pop through, and you're just like, huh, those are some really big birds. And then they start coming your direction, and you go, oh wow, those are some really big birds. Oh no, those birds are way too big to be regular birds.
Oh my God, Godric! Godric to the side of the road! Oh!
What do you mean?
And then I quickly try and hop off. Take the horse! Take the horse!
The bell that Trin has.
What do
been
you
ringing.
mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your bell
Godric in the
rings.
sky!
Huh?
Gonna try to
Trust
scry
me,
on
Godric.
Godric.
Griffin riders.
What
in
are
the sky.
those?
A horse is gonna eat you, or a bird is gonna eat you!
Those don't look like birds.
So you basically just see these almost blobby shapes. These really big blobby shapes coming your direction.
What is falling from the sky? Why is it?
It's a ballista! Move! It's
Huh?
gonna hit you! It's coming right for you! Godric!
But it's
Get
not.
in the tall grass!
It's not the right shape.
Yeah, you look over and the horses have already been shooed over to the trees, to hide where they can, and you see Burrup is turned into a field mouse and is just hopping through, and Misha's just running along.
Chasing Burrow.
Yeah, exactly.
She eats Burrow.
Oh, that would be... Just suddenly becomes a bugbear in there.
That's terrible. You're all terrible people. Your character's terrible. How's that feel? So as you're
What can I
panicking, they kind of roll over you, and you realize that there are just large griffins. This entire school of them has just come down, 5 of them just down the top. But one of them just comes to a slow drift, and just the wings bat forward, and then you see there's people riding it, and it just stops in this loud thud in its claws, and it leans down and moves its head off to the side a little bit, and you see sitting on the back is Oltheon and this knight in full plate armor, and he addresses you. Are you the company of... What'd you say they were called? Thunder Dangerous?
Did the chicken just talk?
Tis I, Thunder Dangerous, as I step out of the grass. Ah!
I lean out and I said, I told you, things had changed.
That's a giant chicken!
I'm gonna wave from the sky up on mine.
I'm gonna walk
Guys,
towards the
look,
giant
we're
chicken.
flying.
You can see the griffin's eyes just on Godric.
I'm full confidence I'm walking towards this chicken.
Somebody cast sleep on Godric.
Oh, I don't have
It
that
kind
one,
of fluffs
friend.
its wings, and its feathers like ruffle right around the neck, and there's like a light screech.
I didn't know they got this big. Wow.
That's what she
Didn't
said.
even know they could fly.
Well,
Trin, when did chickens start getting this big and flying?
So then the other griffins kind of circle back around and land nearby, and you see Katarina and Locke are also riding amongst them. And a couple of the knights direct their griffins towards you, and all right, come on, get on.
Well, we get to ride the chickens.
oh, Trin, what's he doing?
When did you get?
Hurry
Are
up.
you not gold?
I'm gonna dismount, walk over to Godric, and cast Restoration on him and cure the drugs from his system.
All right, bam. You're like the guy's like above you, and he's like, "Get on, we're doing griffin shit."
You don't gotta tell me twice. Upsies, I want upsies.
I bet all of these knights have the coolest mustaches.
When did you get here? And what? There was a chicken.
Godric, you were flying high, and now you're going to do that again. Grab your stuff, set the horses free. We're taking the griffins
You got
to Vanheim.
Ooh, thank you.
Really?
Yes.
Now I'm gonna run and go grab my shit and just look at the knights waiting for someone to tell me to get on.
Once you get past the terrible fear, it's actually quite fun.
I'm waiting for the one knight to go.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so Trin is pulled up. Burrow just comes walking out of the grass. Ultion!
Burrow.
You made new friend!
Yes. Yes, I've learned how to do that.
That's good.
It's a new skill.
I like it. This is a better side of you. Now your mom won't yell at you for not having enough friends. And he goes and walks over. Misha pops out of the bag on the side, just looks at you, see the tail move.
I'm gonna lean over to Locke. I think Burrup got all the sense of humor.
Yes.
Yes. Alright, so
Yeah.
We ride.
We remount.
I was hoping to ride chickens.
We ride and we'll never
You took
subside.
giant chicken riding.
We ride.
Oh, I can
ride.
take griffin riding from me.
as everybody as you all mount your
Fucking tenacious.
I hug into the individual that I'm sitting behind and
Cue the
you
Vietnam
are
War
quite
music.
small. Where do I hold you? I'm envisioning riding this griffin.
Delicately.
An individual way smaller than me. I'm just like, I don't know where I'm holding your arms.
I mean, the griffin's huge.
Yeah, Griffin's
I'm
big.
thinking the person riding the griffin.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fit on the griffin, but like normally you kind of like you
They're
grasp
pretty
on my
big,
shoulders
too.
to wrap around, and I'm like, I can't.
Your,
I
griff-
can't do
your
that.
griffin's still probably a little upset. At least you don't wear armor.
He's just like,
Hold him like you love him.
Where's this?
Be pretty neat if I could.
I've learned some things. The feathers are quite thick if you dig your toes in just right. You don't even need to use your hands. I take my glaive and I put it on my shoulders and just kind of lean. It'll work, trust me.
Not doing that.
my legs
No.
hang- I feel like my legs hang on the side of him. I can't really. I'll just use leg strength. It's fine. Shit.
The griffin can't breathe.
Struggling so bad.
He's riding the chubby griffin.
The griffin's like, I shouldn't have had that extra food this morning.
Which one of these
Extra
griffins
force.
is the chubby griffin? You know, the one the rest of them make fun of? Called Thick with 2 C's. If these griffins were to race, which one would be the last one to cross the finish line?
Which one has ample wingspan?
Which one would climb
there we
a
go.
flight of stairs and then be a little winded afterwards?
Which one has a really good personality?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Wait, what happens when you don't have that either?
No.
So, once again, the griffins begin lifting their wings and flapping, and like with a run and a trot, they basically just jump and lay off the ground and just one after another follow each other up into the air, accelerating up to the height, back up into the sky. This time not all the way up to the cloud cover. Shut up. But all the same, they get really high up in the air. And looking down, you can see like just the spread of the entire forest, the road in which you came all the way through from Black Hollow, and kind of beyond that into the fields, the ruins of the old castle keep that are far off in the distance that you first saw coming into Midheim. And in the distance, kind of getting bigger all the moment that you're flying, the city of Vanheim kind of getting closer on the horizon. But for the time being, as you're flying there, there's just the quiet again settling in over you as the wind just kind of rolls across the top and the feathers, move, and the bird and the griffins the whole time are just they're very calm, but everything that they do is so natural in their instincts, and it seems like less the riders actually controlling or directing them and more just being along for the ride themselves. The griffins kind of move and they'll drift closer to one another in and out, and they'll just kind of come over the top and change places, almost like they're doing what they'll naturally do regardless in the air, and you're just there to be a part of it. These slightly acrobatic dips or drops suddenly. One of the knights kind of calls over to Trin, and he's like, all right, hold on, and it just like drops, the wings sweep back and just dives down to the ground, and he brings it like right before impact, and they pull up, and it's just wings, its claws are like drifting through the barley and knocking the tops off of them as it pulls back up and goes into the sky.
My harvest.
Harvest averages.
My cabbages!
Damn you, Griffins!
First my horse, now my barley.
Shitty Griffins?
Shitty?
Yeah.
City Griffin?
Yeah.
Shitty Griffin?
Shitty Griffins.
This is the coolest.
This is so cool.
I feel so bad. Fuck our horses, right?
Exactly.
Just left them there for the night,
I
darling.
hated that horse.
This horse was mean to him.
Oh, okay.
Was.
Then yeah, fuck that horse.
So, like, just kind of a drift, just leaves kind of just flying through and just doing as they will, being pulled by the air currents. Eventually, you come to the outskirts of the city and you see the walls of Vanheim rising out, these powerfully built thick stone walls rising above the ground with these flying banners in the sky, and the palace within the central walls surrounded by its exterior curtains built up around it. The city just stretching out, home to close to probably 200 and so thousand people living within its walls in the surrounding regions. All the developed farmland stretching out for miles as you approach, and the various roads and inns, cities, coaching inns along the way. And off across from your altitude, about 10 miles or so, you see across the river and across this bridge, the ruins, these cloistered ruins of long abandoned buildings, the ruins of old Vanheim, just standing ominously in the horizon. A destination that you'll probably end up going to. And so the knights warn you, alright, we're going to be landing, so get ready.
Ready for what? Ready for what?
And the wings sweep back so that they can close that distance and altitude once again, and the rush of wind and air just along your body, and the power of the wings, as then they come down in this kind of circling fashion before finally one after another just almost like the pop and force of like a parachute, just the wings come out and they kind of just hit and it slows them and then they drift down. And being that they have those ambulatory claws, the griffins just kind of land on the perches, on the bastions, just wherever they please, no designated place, they're just on the walls. And you see that like the guards and soldiers that are on patrol or up there are kind of just staring in awe of these powerful creatures. They kind of just slowly like a live cat would, just down off the tops onto the walls. And the knights dismount and ask you to do the same.
I hop off. I want to walk to the front of the griffin I was riding.
Okay.
Look at.
So as you're doing it, the guy's just like, hey, be careful. He doesn't like strangers. They
still
bite.
a wild animal.
If it bites me, I deserve it.
If it bites you, you
That's what
die.
I'm saying. If he bites you, you deserve it.
Yeah, I still go up, and I just want to look it in its eye beak. Its eye and part of the beak.
It's like looking at you, staring at you. Turns like to look at you as opposed to looking at you to the side. And then the guy he pats on the top of the head and just tells him, "Don't worry. If he harms you, it's punishable by death. Remember that." And he starts climbing down the saddle.
And I actually just nod my head at it and thank you. That was, I don't know any other word than majestic.
Just kind of give the giant bird a fucking bow, turn and walk away.
It's just kind of clicks its, like you can see its tongue on the inside. And it's just kind of clicks its beak and then it just raises its front claw and just does that dog thing and starts spraying its hair and turns away from you.
Still counts.
Yeah. Whips around, like turns, and its tail just kind of goes over the top of your head. The knight comes over. Don't take it personally. She's been moody ever since I met her.
Still really amazing.
But probably one of the most agile and skilled flyers out of the entire flock, I would say.
I dismount.
I just see you hugging you like no.
My long golden hair is like kind of all crazy, right?
Yeah.
I take one hand and brush it through and then forget about it and just stare at the griffins for a bit.
Hellman kind of comes over and he's like, looks at it and he says something to it in not common, but not elven or anything else. Like some strange druidic word. And then the griffin, which seems pretty much bigger than all the other ones, just kind of screeches and then it takes off. And then all the other ones, after everyone's dismounted, pull up and fly off too. It's just, we have to let them go graze.
Yes,
So they're gonna
graze.
go find some horses or something to eat, or maybe, if we're lucky, something else like a manticore or something in the woods. Trollocs. They're big fans of eating them. There's lots of them. They're all over the place.
Helmond, if ever you were to grace me with a single griffin's feather, I would reward you greatly.
I see. Well, I can't guarantee that I can do that. They're considered protected by the Imperial throne, and their feathers are sought-after items, so... Either way, maybe in the future, but I can't do that now.
Just as
Hope
a
you
standing
understand.
order,
Yes,
if ever.
sure. Either way, we can go down through here, to the guard tower, through the barracks, into the city streets. We should probably find you an accommodation. I recommend the Valiant's Inn, and then meet me at the church of Parathor. I'll be waiting there, and the Inquisitors will more than likely be there as well.
We'll walk up to Orpheon.
Orpheon, two things. First off, thank you for getting rid of my hallucinations. Second, those griffins were amazing.
Utterly amazing. I cannot begin to explain to you the large words I would have to use that you would not understand for how amazing they were.
Thank you
Yes,
for being part.
yes, God
Appreciate that part.
Yes.
But no, that was amazing. Did you imagine fighting a dragon on that thing?
No. But I saw it.
What?
When they arrived in town, they were battling a red dragon in the sky.
I turn and kind of grab you by your shoulders. What? Kind of give you a jostle?
I'm not going to continue the story until you put me down, Godric.
Sorry, I was excited. You see me put my hands down, kind of hold them together, so I stop trying to freak
I'm
out.
trying this thing where I attempt to be a little bit more polite, especially with my friends. And in return, I think maybe you could try not touching me unless I've asked you to.
Seems agreeable.
Excellent. What would you like to know about the dragon and the griffins?
So they fought the dragon.
And as we walk towards wherever we hope the tavern is, I'll recount the entire story.
Perfect.
Okay.
You're just hear shouts of excitement from Godric, and you'll see him go over to try to grab Ultium and stop, and have to pull his hands back.
Yeah. So, upon getting to the city streets, in many ways, it feels very similar to the style and distinctiveness of Oswell as well, but it's much more compact, and there's barely any room between these tons of row houses and townhouses that line the city streets. 4 stories, 5 stories tall, they just loom over the tops of the streets. People are jam-packed into every nook and cranny of the alleyways. There seems to be something happening around every corner. You see guards arresting individuals fleeing down the streets, and vendors try to sell you terrible goods of questionable quality along the length of the way. And you ask for directions to the Valiant's Inn, in which you are pointed to. So the Valiant's Inn is a 3-story building, so made of wood and plaster, just like in the style of Tudor buildings, like almost everywhere else. And it's on the corner of West Rampart Street, and there's this really lovely Pegasus water fountain that's in the same space, just out in front. And the exterior is, I don't know, more or less just kind of unassuming compared to what you have seen. There's nothing particularly special about it. Most of the roof tiles in the city, though, appear to be of this kind of bluish tint, unlike Oswell and Marseille. There doesn't seem to be anything. Yeah. So, all in all, it seems fairly quiet. There's nobody hanging out outside. There's no. I guess there would be no peasants or there's no homeless people or anything out front. No beggars on the sides of the street asking you for anything. You do see somebody outside with this large broom that's kind of sweeping the windows and knocking debris off of them, leaves and such. And as you approach the building, you kind of hit the front door and the steps, and there's this kind of enclosed little patio space that has these iron bars or iron fencing that kind of just protects that one, almost like a stoop, I guess, per se. And you push on the door and enter. And what you see on the inside is a fairly lavish interior with this exquisite, handcrafted furniture. All this dark blue drapery kind of coming down the ceilings and all along the sides of the windows. And there seems to be many suits of armor on display, near the tables in the center of the common room, of which houses this large fireplace above with a painting of these Bravashan knights charging across this field. From the common room, there's a small set of stairs that leads up to a platform, just kind of raised platform. So the common room where all the tables are is kind of lowered, and then there's this platform with the railing that goes alongside it. And up those stairs seems to be the reception desk, and you can see somebody kind of just sitting there with pen and ink quills and reading something. Seems empty though. You don't see any other patrons out front. Nobody's hanging out. There seems to be a chess set finely carved out of stone or some sort of marble stone in there as well. Next to that, the reception counter is another set of stairs that more than likely leads up to the next floor. So they see you come in, and this kind of bright young man sits up. Oh, looks like I have customers for the day. Hello, welcome to the Valiant's Inn. What can I do for you today? We're looking for some rooms to stay in. We're going to be in the city long.
Obvious. Katerina?
Yes, some rooms would be lovely. I'm
all
not
right.
sure exactly how long we'll be here, so can we just do on a nightly basis?
Sure,
for
we
now?
can. It's 5 silver pieces per room per night, unless that is you're in a double suite, and that's 2 gold pieces per night.
Ooh.
How many rooms do we need?
I'll take a double suite. That way.
I
no one has
recommend
to
that for a
sleep
man
here.
his size.
Yes. Do you have beds big enough to accommodate?
In the double suite, we do, yes.
I just reach in and I pull out. 2 gold.
I think you'll like it. The bed's fully enclosed. There's 2 of them in there. It's a separated room, and it's filled with these amazing paintings.
I already put 2 on the table. 2 gold on the table.
All right.
I'll take a.
Shall we total up then for one night for, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms?
Yes, I'll take one of the double suites though, unless anybody else wants to room with the bugbear. Burp and Trin.
Sure.
Burp's not even inside.
Oh, I'll be right back. Assume I'm getting a room for 2, and I walk out.
I'm fine with a regular room.
I mean, I've already bought the suite, so anyone's welcome to the second bed. Since they're enclosed and separated.
Well, I don't sleep.
It's not like he's going to be using it.
Do you want to stay with them, Trin? Or would you like your own?
I guess I'll share.
Feel
Won't
free.
be like the tent, will it?
I'm sorry. I enjoy my alone time in the tent.
Yeah, that's very apparent.
2 of the suites and then 1 normal room, I think will do it. I'll pay the extra, the 2 gold for Oltheons, and then the 2... How much? 5 silver for the regular one? Is that what it was?
Yeah, 5 silver pieces
Yeah.
per room per night for the regular rooms.
I'll pay for those 2.
Okay.
Is there a crane suite?
Is Burp just right outside?
We would like the
Yeah,
president.
so as you kind of open up the door and look outside, he's actually sitting at the bottom of the steps, and like 3 kids have like come up to him and are like just petting his hair, and he's just like, he has this thing, and he has his hands closed, and then he like opens them up, and this flower just kind of grows out of his hand, and then he picks it and gives it to the little girl that's there, and then they all kind of laugh and just run out into the street across. After you can see like some concerned looking parents call to them from the opposite side of the road, and then they kind of just run over there and
That's
kind of grab them and start pulling them away.
too goddamn wholesome.
So,
Burp.
yes, Odeon.
Yes, we're going to share a room.
Oh, like usual then.
Yes, of course.
All right.
I was going to warn you about keeping a low profile here, but it seems you'll be all right.
Well, they saw Misha. And then they wanted. Anyways, that's fine. And he just starts walking up the stairs to walk past you inside of the Valiants.
Is that did one of the children tie a braid in your hair?
I don't want to talk about it.
All right.
Do you think? You know what? I need a bath, an actual bath.
Yes,
So
you
from
do.
where you're standing, you can look when you look up the street too, to the right. There's a what looks like some sort of like small gathering space and a platform, and you can see that there's either like a sorcerer or a wizard who is creating like fireworks effects, and there's like a crowd of people who have gathered and are watching it happen.
Neat.
And a gentleman kind of walks by with this this cart, and he's just like, "You look like a man who could use a new cloak. And it's only because you seem to have a stain on that one you're wearing."
This
I'm not
cloak
there.
was given to me after the death of one of my greatest friends, who fought hundreds of dark elves on the battlements of Eridor. I'll be keeping this one.
So it's sentimental, you might say?
Yes. Also, well done on the large word. I'm incredibly impressed.
I think I'm offended, but at the same time, I kind of like you. So,
By the Seldarine, I hope
I'm going to give you a
the
discount.
gods you are offended.
50% off a spare cloak of a similar color,
Oh, you know
just
what?
in case.
We'll take one.
Listen, a silver piece is yours.
Right, how about this? 1 silver piece for the cloak and I'll throw in another silver piece that you avoid ever speaking to me again.
That's really rude, and I'm a little hurt by it, but whatever, a deal's a deal. I mean, I'll move the cloak to you.
Okay, I take the cloak, I give him 2 silver pieces.
How emotionally actualized.
It's so...
This man's going places.
It's similar. It's a similar color, but it's definitely off, and it's not really even close.
Is
so
it
it's definitely
decent,
red,
though? Is it a decent cloak?
Yeah, it is actually.
Good
It
weather
seems-
cloak?
Yeah, it's a good weather cloak. It seems you check the hems and like what sewing and all the other parts of it. It has this nice little like silver clasp on the end to like bring it together. So it's in a slightly different style. It's definitely meant to come over the top of your shoulders to the front of you, and kind of help protect your front. So
Nice.
probably with the weather cooling off, it's kind of the style that will be in fashion for the time being. But then he just like takes the silver pieces and he just doesn't say anything to you, but he just goes and walks away. And just goes down the street. Cloaks, fine cloaks for sale. Cold weather coming. Fine cloaks for sale.
Man's going somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take the cloak back inside.
So on the inside, meanwhile, while he's outside negotiating, you guys have gotten your rooms and they've taken down your names and assigned them to the rooms and put you in the registry, and you have now individualized keys to take up there. The double suites are both on the 3rd floor because they're some of the largest rooms, and the single rooms are going to be on the 2nd floor.
I follow Trin, and when he steps into the room,
I start blasting.
so I started blasting. No, Trin,
What? Don't you have your own room?
I won't be using a room. Not the point.
Okay, what is the point?
So, earlier today,
Yes?
the Griffin Rider, the wizard, he affected the weather and created a little bit of rain to put out a fire.
Yeah, the one Otheon was talking about.
Right. Then we rode, and we were in the sky.
Yeah, Otheon mentioned all that.
I just was up there and had time to think and
Like about
observe.
Existential dread?
No,
life?
no, but there
How
was.
how hard the ground would feel if you fell?
Shh.
'Cause that's what I was thinking about.
Shh. Let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
I was struck by some inspiration while I was up there. I saw how terrified you were and was thinking about the weather
Well, I do inspire
and the
people.
clouds.
Yeah.
I need your help to learn a sort of magic that I don't have a firm grasp on. Or if you can't help me, I was going to see if maybe Katarina could do it. But
You have my attention.
since you came to us as an expert in affecting the mind, I was hoping you knew how to instill fear in someone.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know how to do that. Ah!
No,
No,
magic.
Normally that works.
Magically.
Oh, man, I can do that too. I'm probably better at that
Okay.
because I'm so good looking.
All right.
Yeah.
I had an inspiration for a spell that I'd like to craft,
Well, I will grant you that inspiration
but I need to
and
learn.
raise you some more.
I need to learn spells affecting the mind first.
Okay. So you want me to teach you the magic of the mind?
I need to learn how to create fear. Yes.
I think that's going to be pretty hard for you.
Do you?
Well, at least with the magic that I use, it's you draw upon your own experiences, and there's a little bit of emotional oomph, and I don't know how in touch you are with the feeling of fear. I've never really seen you act very afraid. You always seem more like this outside observer that doesn't experience a whole lot of emotion internally. Instead, you just look at everyone else and how they feel and make observations. But I don't really get much of a vibe off you.
Right. That's why I need you to teach me.
Well, if I'm gonna teach you, you're gonna need to be prepared to get in touch with what's in here.
Mostly metal.
No, you're not just metal. You're a person.
I understand. It was a joke.
I've seen you afraid a couple times.
I was torn apart
Yeah,
once.
I remember. I was there. You were hella scared. Then, right after, you act like it never even happened. You didn't even want to talk about it. I tried to talk to you about it like 5 times because I was like, man, well, you remember.
I do remember, yes. If learning this spell means I have to talk about it, we can.
Do you mean that, or are you just saying that?
It was horrifying. I could hear the metal bending and tearing and popping, and I was conscious for the whole entire moment, right up until it ripped out my soul. At least you organic things will pass out when you're in enough pain. I won't. I experienced the terror all the way until the end.
Yeah, I could see why you would want to run away or avoid those feelings, especially after you have to go through something like that.
A ghost recently ripped out my soul again.
What?
Less painful, but just as terrifying. I got to see it. It's real.
So if you're going to inspire that feeling in others, that's what you're going to have to draw upon.
I can do that. I have perfect memory.
Yeah, it's not so much about the remembering, it's more about the experiencing.
The reverie.
Oh, that
Like-
sounds a little sadistic.
Like what the elves do. And they experience a memory perfectly. Feelings, expressions, emotions, all of it. A reverie.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could definitely try. I will do everything I can to teach you the art of fear.
Perfect. We'll begin tonight.
We just got here. Can we take a day to rest? Altheon hasn't really updated me on, like, how things kind of changed or all the specifics
I
of
guess.
dragon attack and some other stuff.
Alright. You're right. I'm sorry. I'll let you rest. We'll start tomorrow. Okay?
Okay. I have to come up with a lesson plan. It's gonna take some ingenuity. I must think on it. With my mind, you see.
Please do. Thank you. Trin.
No, I felt like you meant that.
I did.
Yeah.
I've only ever been honest with all of you.
No, you can't. It's not that I'm saying you're like a liar. It just feels like you're kind of removed. Like you feel things because you think you're supposed to, but not really because you're actually like in the moment and really experiencing what it is.
Well, maybe it just needs more time. Things are opening up for us.
Yeah, that's true. But yes.
Thank you. Get some rest.
Oh, I definitely will.
And I'll leave the room.
Look, real quick, I just had a thought.
Mm-hmm.
And this has nothing to do with what we were just talking about.
Great.
This is completely separate from that thing.
Excellent, because I was walking away from that conversation.
Yeah, I know, you're gonna have to walk back into it eventually, but this seems like a pretty nice place, right?
Huh?
Why is it empty? Everywhere else is crammed with people.
I hadn't thought about it.
I think maybe there's something behind that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But I've seen some shit. To put it lightly.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, keep a wary eye.
I'm glad you're here to do that.
Never know what's lurking behind every corner.
Well, I'll go help if anybody needs anything, so.
Okay.
Alright. Now I'll leave the room.
Alright, so you two upstairs in the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having the conversation. You three are downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So they offered you food as a part of a room and board. They're like, oh, because it's not early in the day necessarily still. The Griffins got you there right around like just before noonish or so. So they have like lunch ready. And as they're like telling you, oh, the food's ready to be served, people start to actually filter into the inn and take seats at the tables. A couple of the individuals who kind of just stand out to you is this very deep maroon-skinned, like elderly tiefling woman, and this, she kind of just walks in and like sees you all and just gives you a slight nod and goes and sits down at one of the tables, followed by this very lithe and kind of agile tabaxi with this kind of almost calico finish. Kind of just comes in and runs up past you up to the counter, and like you can see her tail just kind of like flitter like back and forth, and she's very excitedly just goes, "Do we have them in yet? Are they in? Are they in? Are they in?" And the young man's like, yes, we have them. We'll make sure to bring them to you. And she's like, oh, joyful. And she just runs back down past you and goes and sits just very patiently, hands in front. Just looks around. A couple of regular travelers come in, heavy traveling cloaks and such. Probably a couple of merchants, individuals. Some mercenary type looking ruffians come in as well. One of them wearing this has a war pick and this heavy, like heater shield. This halfling actually just kind of trots in with a few of them behind him, and they kind of come in and start checking in at the inn. So the inn starts to fill up and feel a little bit more lively over the course of you guys kind of standing there. The meal they offer you is like bread pudding and rack of owlbear ribs. It's served with like this brandy dipping sauce, and they have grilled onions and carrots as well. So, Trin is right to be suspicious. No, I'm just kidding.
I have a question. Could I have a bath prepared, or do you have baths ready?
Who are you asking?
I'm gonna walk up to the counter.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that's my fault.
He's like, sure, yeah, of course. Yeah, we have baths.
Perfect. Where?
I don't think we have any that will fit you, so we might want to try the public bathhouse.
Where's that?
If you go out here and, let's see, turn north on the street at the corner, and then you're gonna go to the merchant district. At the merchant district, you should see the public bathhouse off the side road.
North Merchant District, offside road.
Yes.
Public. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I believe it's near Helen's auction house, I believe.
Should I,
I'll walk back. Thank you. I'll walk back to the Katerina and actually she's Katerina. You need Katerina and Oltheon.
question, if, are we going, how soon are we going to go to the Parathor's place? Church, there we go.
I believe we should make our way to our summons as quickly as we can.
I was going to bathe first, if possible. It's been a while.
I'm sure that would be alright.
I don't personally care what you do. I mean that nicely.
That one didn't work.
Oh, well, how about, you haven't smelled any worse than usual? So I think you're okay?
He's still new at this.
We're working on it.
Alright.
Oh wait, Godric, I've gotten used to your smell. The bath is unnecessary.
Because you're friends and you've been around each other a lot.
Yes,
so
and
you're
friends
used to
accept each
other.
other.
All that means
stenches.
all that means is I still stink.
Yes, you smell horrid.
Alright. I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna go to the public bathhouse real quick.
Godric, we'll wait for you, of course.
I'll be back quick.
So as you're leaving to go for the front door, you're interrupted because somebody barges through the front door, and there's like this tiny shape in front of you as you look down, and there's this tall hood, and like there's almost like a flutter to the hands, and then there's Brent, and you just hear, "I'm a harmless Kenku. Please take me to the pink-haired gnome." That's all